Preseason football. Your team, too. I don't care. How do I know who your team is? It doesn't matter. All y'all's team has got a game this weekend. That's right. The Cowboys, the Steelers, the Raiders, the Rams, the Broncos, all y'all. What's up, y'all? Happy Monday. Opening drive, Jeff Sabieta, J.J. Buck. Everybody wants a new contract. The new word is hold in. How you living on a Monday?
What'd it do?
You holding in? Want a new deal? I mean, after receiving your award on Friday, Steph, the Cumulus connection took that over. We had like 4 tables up front, and the amount of hardware that was reeled in by the people, the talent in this building on Friday night at the New Mexico Broadcasters Association Awards dinner was pretty impressive.
It was.
I got to see the pictures.
Did
they were
you?
great, yes.
Yeah, Summers was up there.
They looked all really nice.
Everybody got all dolled up. I mean, did you know Gaba could look like that?
Oh, my gosh.
I had no idea. I mean,
it was like he was going to a movie premiere or something.
Yeah, I didn't know John Summers had anything besides shorts and a T-shirt. Did you?
I know.
He didn't bring the dog.
Saw the red tie, yeah.
The overcoat, the red tie. Then everybody's walking there. They're doing the awards in front of the stage, but Summers gets his. And they'd only done about, 70 awards by the time he came up. And Summers strolls across the stage. Well, I just wanted to get on the stage. So he goes on the stage. And then he went, yeah. It was a good night for all the Cumulusians? What would you call them? Cumulites?
Cumulites.
Ooh, I like the Cumulites.
All the Cumulites. News Radio KKOB Station of the Year. JJ got an award. It was pretty cool. Nice to be there, JJ. It was good to be back. I felt like things were normal again when we were back over there.
Oh, it was very nice. Congratulations to everyone that won. It's a good reminder there's a lot of really good talent in this state, whether we're talking news broadcasting, sports broadcasting. I think it was Cumulus and KOAT that absolutely, just the energy in the room.
Yeah, congratulations to Bethany Miller, who's been on our show a lot. She won Best Television Sportscast. Joe Diaz, our buddy, won Best Weathercast. And Steph, we won for the 6th time in 7 years. We won Best Sports Show.
That is so awesome! Congratulations, guys.
It was kind of cool.
That's awesome.
So it was a nice evening.
I enjoy being a part of your show, so I'm blessed to be.
We enjoy having you as part of the show, and thank you for getting up again and doing this. So you're here how many days this week? Just
today.
All right, and then Marie, I think we're changing the call letters of this radio station to K. Marie. She's taken over, so she'll be back tomorrow after her big stint to Denver, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of stories. All right, we got a ton going on this morning, and we'll get through the weekend and all the football stuff and everything that's going on. United get beat at home 3-0. 3-0. Isotopes are really struggling on the road in El Paso, so they'll be home this weekend. Dodgers sweep over the Padres, which I think was significant. Here's your guest list. And 7:30 this morning, Janice Ruggiero is going to be with us, the longtime senior women's administrator at UNM and senior associate athletic director. UNM, and I don't know how many of you are going to know the name, but you'll know it by the end of the day. Con Colbert passed away. Con Colbert was the deputy athletic director for Rudy Davalos all the years at UNM. Also for Rudy when he was at Houston. Con was the guy, like the guy who did I don't want to say that Rudy didn't do any of the work. Con did the dirty work. Con was the guy behind the scenes that as I was talking to some people over the weekend, somebody I was talking to yesterday, said never heard a bad word about Con. He was a guy that maybe if you knew him, you loved him. If you didn't know him, you heard about him. And JJ, I tell people this about the New Mexico Bowl all the time. Like, I'm the guy who stands out in front and gets so much of the credit, and then there's the people that do, the bulk of the heavy lifting. And I think that was what Con was for Rudy. I talked to Rudy briefly over the weekend, Rudy Davalos as well. We're going to remember Con Colbert at 7:30, and Janice worked with him for a long time. But Con was one of the biggest reasons that they had so much success during that reign when Rudy was the AD for 14 years. JJ, I don't know if you know this. In all of the financial woes that we've heard about UNM athletics over the last 2 decades, did you know when Rudy and Con left as AD and deputy AD, that there was a surplus of close to $3 million in athletics? That there wasn't a deficit, that there was a surplus And at that point, football was winning, and basketball. Well, the basketball was struggling. That was Richie McKay's time. But they had won in basketball. I mean, I just want you to think of it in those terms. So we're going to do that at 7:30. We're going to remember the life of Con Colbert, who passed away. And full disclosure, I mean, Con and his family are very, very close to me. His son, Kerry, has been, up until about a year, and he still comes back. He's the operations manager for New Mexico Bowl. Kerry's been my number 2 since we started New Mexico Bowl back in 2006. And so I've become very, very close to that family. But it just I don't want to say it was sudden at 88 years old, but we'll do that. 8 o'clock, Danny Gosalis is going to be with us, head football coach at the University of New Mexico. First few days of practice are in the books. They get to hit this week, and Danny's going to be licking his chops with that.
Yeah, I think there's quite a few people Friday, Saturday, and just get out there for the first time, see what it's like. Just finally, pads back on, just shells, first couple of days. But you're seeing the intensity, and there's a lot of opportunity. Danny Gonzalez is talking about an expanded rotation on defensive line. You got 3 guys battling it out right now for the quarterback position. There is playing time available, and you see that energy in these dudes knowing that there's a lot of snaps to be had.
So we'll talk to Danny. That'll be at 8 o'clock this morning. Danny also knew Con and worked with Con Colbert when he was here the first time, and so we'll get his thoughts on Con. 9:15, we will continue our tour of the Mountain West Conference and have a conversation with Wyoming's football coach, Craig Bohl. Was that the first time you met him?
Yes.
What do you think of Craig Bohl?
I like Craig Bohl.
Yeah. I've always liked Craig Bohl.
Welcoming presence, strong foundation, good vision.
Perfect for that place.
And I do like, I appreciate when it's anyone, and you have that self-awareness. He was talking, the honesty in those situations, and you'll hear it in our conversation about maybe they read their press clippings a little bit too much. Maybe they're a little over their skis, and just to be able to own things like that, knowing, all right, this is the stuff that you have to wrap your head around to figure out, all right, how can this group, which is not going to have the same expectations, take a step forward for a program that really, I think we think of Wyoming, we at least, since Craig has been there, you're thinking 6-win team, maybe they have that push.
Well, he got that team into the championship game.
Well, they had Josh Allen.
Yeah, all right. But he's the one who found Josh Allen. He's the only one who gave Josh Allen a chance, right? Did Fresno State, who was sitting right there in his yard? Did New Mexico? Did anybody else?
And now the problem is you had one Josh Allen.
Yeah.
And now they've kind of been in a quarterback position, not as bad as New Mexico, but bounced around a lot the last few years.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's the same guy who coached Carson Wentz in college and Josh Allen in college. He's got a track record where you say, all right, I kind of get it. You're pretty good at this. But in Wyoming, and I didn't realize, is it his 9th year already? As much as they like Craig Bohl, the person, they're like every other fan base now. Why aren't we competing for a championship, right? Why aren't we what Boise State thinks they are? Right? And that's where Wyoming is. And look, if you do it once, first of all, if you never do it, everybody says, why aren't we competing? Look at them. What do they have that we don't have? And then you get there one time, and they hosted San Diego State for a conference championship game. Remember that?
Yes,
it wasn't long ago, although it seems like forever ago in some respects, but it wasn't long ago that the Mountain West Conference championship game was in Laramie. It was cold. It was and they just beat the Aztecs, if I'm not mistaken, and then San Diego State beat them. But they were in a conference championship game, and their fan base is all in. It's the only Division I college in their state. It's it, man. It's what they've got for sports in their state on a national level, and their fan base wants to know why on earth aren't we competing more? And especially last year, JJ, when there were such high expectations, and they finished 6-6. They did go to the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, I believe is what they won last year. But they won the game. So we'll talk with him coming up at 9:15. So that's where we are, 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. Your emails come in this morning, Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com, JJ at sportsanimалabq.com. On the Twitter, it's _JJ Buck. Adrian is in on the ProView Network's television visual medium side. You can watch us on Comcast, channel 26 throughout the state of New Mexico, on our Facebook page, the OD in the AM, and, of course, on ProView Network's YouTube channels. When we come back, we're going to start with the NFL. Kareem Hunt wants a deal. Kareem Hunt's a really good running back. I don't know that Kareem Hunt's going to get the deal that Kareem Hunt thinks Kareem Hunt should get. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, J.J. Buck, Stephanie, and Adrian today on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the Pet Supply Superstore. ClarksPets.com.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
Jackson Compaction wants to help you keep your green.
And keep the community green as well.
Jackson Compaction has worked hard to maintain the same prices since day one. Always easy and painless trash removal with professional crews and quality service. If it's non-hazardous waste, debris, or trash on your land, leave it to us. At Jackson Compaction, we're dedicated to ensuring the conservation of our environment.
You trash it,
we smash it. Jackson Compaction, we've earned a reputation for great results.
The energy landscape is limitless and ever-changing. Cleaner energy resources are crucial to New Mexico's environment. For 100 years, PNM has utilized cutting-edge technology and employed hard-working New Mexicans to ensure that we have consistent, reliable energy when we need it. For life's loudest moments, quietest moments, and every moment in between. We're dedicated to providing you with energy now and into the future. All you have to do is dream of what to do with it next.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543. High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the Pet Supply Superstore. ClarksPets.com.
Hey, week, even though he's got his issues. I want to get into that. Kareem Hunt is a running back. Do you remember Kareem Hunt's issue in Kansas City?
Yep.
Kareem Hunt kind of is lucky to be in the NFL, is he not?
He is, because he has that one special thing that gives you second, third, fourth chances.
What, that he's really good?
Talent.
Yeah. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, J.J. Buck. So Kareem Hunt was a running back with the Kansas City Chiefs. He, remind me, he beat, was he on tape? Was he the one who kicked the woman on the ground? All right, he knocked her out, and then she was on the ground, and he kicked her. And it was like in a hotel or in a lobby, like by the elevators. All right, so the Chiefs released him. Browns picked him up. That's where you go. If you got it. I don't know. You draw your correlations with the Cleveland Browns, all right? Kareem Hunt has been good. He's a good running back. He is the second best running back on that team. Now, if you put him on many other teams, he would probably be the best running back on, I don't know, would you say 15 out of 30 teams?
Fair.
Would he be the best running back in Chicago and maybe even Green Bay and Atlanta and Arizona and Seattle and yes, okay. But he's behind Nick Chubb, and Nick Chubb's really good. So Kareem Hunt basically wants to get paid. He wants to get paid big. He wants an extension, and I don't think it's going to happen in Cleveland. Kevin Stefanski is their coach. He will not comment. Quote, I'm not getting into really anything that has to do with our players and conversations. I won't get into that. That's what he said.
That's all Kevin Stefanski has done this entire offseason.
About everything?
The head football coach of the Cleveland Browns is just like, I can't talk about this. Can't talk about that.
Yeah.
Don't comment on that.
You want to be a head coach? Yeah.
Not allowed to talk about this, guys.
Yeah. Look, he's 27 years old. He missed 9 games last season with calf and ankle injuries. He ended up with 386 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns. He was third on the team in rushing. Remember Dearness Johnson? Yes, you all do. You all picked him up for a week. Had that one big week on Thursday night and thought you hit pay dirt, didn't you? You thought you had gold. Remember the Thursday night Dearness Johnson game? Everybody went nuts. Now, you go back to 2017 when he was a rookie. He led the NFL in rushing as a rookie with the Chiefs. He had 1,300-plus yards. He was released by Kansas City after that video surfaced of him shoving and kicking that woman. He signed with the Browns. He was suspended for the first 8 games. Isn't that crazy? Can we go back to this? So this is the same team that's got Deshaun Watson, right? And they got
he was
nothing.
Mad that he was going to get suspended 6 games.
Right? 6 games for 20, how many? 24 allegations of sexual misconduct. And they're cranky at 6. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you what's worse. It's not my game. You all have your opinion. I don't know. They're both pretty brutal, right? Although one was hard to deny. Deshaun Watson says, I didn't do any of that. Kareem Hunt never said, I didn't kick that woman on the ground. That video you saw, no, that was he never said that, right? He kind of ate that, took his 8 games, and now he's moved on. So he wants an extension. I get it, man. We all want our money. Everybody wants to get paid. Where's he coming from? Other than, I want mine.
It's coming from that window is about ready to close on a 27-year-old running back.
It's probably right, huh?
Because once he hits the free agent market, you're league minimum.
You think he's league minimum? I think he's a little more than league minimum, but
in
he's
terms,
not getting
he's
paid.
not getting you're not getting that money as a running back in the NFL, even if you are productive as you get older. And we start to look at a lot of these guys that have been running the game recently. They're older guys. They're bucking the trend a little bit. You look at Derrick Henry. I think he's 27. And that's always, you start to look at late 20s, 27, 28. What do you have left? Seen Derrick Henry suffer that foot injury last year. Christian McCaffrey's been off the field a ton. It's a tough position when it comes to money right now.
Yeah. It's first of all, there's to your point.
And you have Nick Chubb.
So you
don't have to pay Kareem.
So his biggest issue is, I want to get traded because you're not paying me. And they're like, look, we're not trading you, and we're not paying you. You got a job, and so he's got 1 year left. He signed a 2-year extension in 2020. All right? So his base salary is $1.35 million. He's going to make $6.25 million in yearly cash, according to Sport Rack. So, Steph, he's only making $6.25 million. I don't know how he's going to send his kids to private school and go on a trip. Let me explain something to you about that position, okay? If somebody goes down, and somebody probably will, JJ, in the next 3 weeks, and there's a team that needs a number 1 running back, I think they call the Cleveland Browns and look at Kareem Hunt, correct?
And the Cleveland Browns have to say no.
Why do they have to say no?
The Cleveland Browns need Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt to be viable this season when you're looking at playing the majority, if not at least half your games, with Jacoby Brissett as your quarterback.
So they need to run the football is what you're telling me.
They need both those guys on the field. This is one that if you're Cleveland for this season, if you want to be successful at all, you need both those guys on your roster.
All right, here's why they're not going to pay him. And there's teams, and not that he is going to be in the league of Ezekiel Elliott, Todd Gurley type contract. But you look at all the running backs who got paid. I mean, and I'm going to tell you all of them. Can you give me one that worked out? Todd Gurley, the Rams were tied. Right after they won that first Super Bowl and they paid Todd Gurley. And to your point, 27 is kind of the max. Steph, it's kind of crazy to think, well, you're old. You're 27. You're at the back end of your career. For a running back, what's a running back's job? Take ball, get hit. Right? Take ball, get hit. You're the guy who, I mean, you get hit more than anybody, more than a quarterback. Quarterback's getting rid of ball. He has ball, but he's getting rid of it. Wide receiver gets hit, but not as much. Take ball, get hit. Carry ball 20-something times a game, get hit. And the lifespan is I mean, how many 35-year-old running backs do you see? You just don't, right?
Right, because most of these guys are playing from young age, so that's 20-some years of being hit.
It's a lot of hit. So take ball, get hit. Ezekiel Elliott, Le'Veon Bell, who got it with the Jets, said it didn't work. I mean, did you have one that worked, of a running back who got paid, and that it kind of made sense through the duration of that contract? Because I can't find one. Do you?
For the duration?
I mean, even the majority of the extension. It's not
There's
working.
Not one that's I guess jury's kind of still out on Alvin Kamara, but he's going to be suspended.
Yeah.
I'm seeing what's happened with Christian McCaffrey the last couple of years.
Well, he's been injured, right? He got
Derrick
paid.
Henry just had the injured year, and he just re-upped.
Look, it's a glamour position on the field, but the NFL is not paying running backs like they're paying receivers. They're just not. And especially the number 2 running back on a team at 27 years old who's got a history. So I just, man, Cleveland can't catch a break. But I don't want to draw a correlation, but do you mind if I do? I mean, their issues are with guys with character issues.
A to B.
Am I out on a limb here?
No.
No, not at all. And I was actually looking up like NFL suspensions and stuff.
Yeah.
There are guys that got suspended for an entire season over way frivolous stuff.
Like?
Betting on games.
Well, do you think that's frivolous? So right now,
considering
Calvin Ridley
27 counts, 24 counts of sexual,
Calvin Ridley is out for this whole year, right? Calvin Ridley, is that what you were looking at?
No, I was looking like
Is that who I'm
way
thinking of?
past in the.
All right, well, currently, Calvin Ridley in the offseason got suspended for the full year for betting on his team. I'm sorry, betting on football while he was still on a roster. Now, he was injured last year, but it is clear, it's in every locker room, it's posted, do not bet on right, you cannot bet on football. Betting's legal everywhere. The league is taking how much money from all these betting sites? I mean, just go watch anything. The odds are up everywhere. That's integrity of the game. All right, we're going to break because we have to. When we come back, Janice Ruggiero is going to be with us. And we're going to remember the life of Con Colbert, who passed away over the weekend. Con was great people and really, really, really pivotal in the success of UNM athletics during Rudy Dobolis's run as athletic director. He was the deputy athletic director for Rudy back at Houston and at UNM. So we're going to talk with Janice because she worked with him for so many years. That we're going to do that when we come back. But I want to tell you about New Male because I've been telling you, and I've been talking to men for a long time about New Male and how thousands of men benefit from the industry-leading testosterone replacement, how those men feel better and stronger, and they've taken care of fatigue and depression, even erectile dysfunction. Now I'm going to talk to men and women because New Male specializes in hair restoration for men and women, hair restoration without side effects. Number's 505-652-1688. 505-652-1688 or online at newmale.com. Newmale's got options for hair restoration. Platelet-rich plasma hair therapy uses your own platelets to stimulate stem cells, deepen your hair follicle to stop hair loss. It regrows hair. An FDA-cleared clinical hair restoration laser proven to regrow hair. NeoGraft hair transplants producing natural-looking results in less than a week with no linear scarring. Treatments work for both men and women who want a natural, thicker head of hair without side effects. They're in Albuquerque. New Male's number is 505-652-1688, 505-652-1688, or online at newmale.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the Pet Supply Superstore. ClarksPets.com.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
Jackson Compaction wants to help you keep your green.
And keep the community green as well.
Jackson Compaction has worked hard to maintain the same prices since day one. Always easy and painless trash removal with professional crews and quality service. If it's non-hazardous waste, debris, or trash on your land, leave it to us. At Jackson Compaction, we're dedicated to ensuring the conservation of our environment.
You trash it,
We smash it. Jackson Compaction, we've earned a reputation for great results.
The energy landscape is limitless and ever-changing. Cleaner energy resources are crucial to New Mexico's environment. For 100 years, PNM has utilized cutting-edge technology and employed hard-working New Mexicans to ensure that we have consistent, reliable energy when we need it. For life's loudest moments, quietest moments, and every moment in between. We're dedicated to providing you with energy now and into the future. All you have to do.
Back to your phone calls in a little bit, but I want to acknowledge the passing of somebody who was so pivotal in the success of UNM athletics in the 90s and for a long time. Con Colbert passed away on Friday night, Saturday morning. 88 years old. Con was the deputy athletic director for Rudy Davalos when Rudy was the athletic director at UNM. Also was with Rudy at Houston. 35 years as an athletic administrator, and did a lot of the dirty work, right? A lot of the stuff that you don't know. And I was telling JJ earlier, when Rudy and Con stepped down, there was a surplus in the athletic department, about $3 million. And you've heard all about the woes and everything going on financially. And I've talked to a lot of people about Con, and full disclosure, Con and the Colberts have become family to me. His son Kerry has been the operations manager for New Mexico Bowl since I started. He and I started at ESPN the same day back in 2006. So that family is very special to me. But I've talked to so many people, and our next guest, Janice Ruggiero, who's a longtime senior administrator, senior women's administrator, a senior associate athletic director at UNM, worked closely with Con over the years. And I wanted to have Janice come in and talk about Con. Welcome back to the show. Good morning, Janice. How you doing?
Morning, Jeff. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. I wanted to reach out. You and I had a brief conversation on Saturday, and I'm sorry that I had to break the news to you. But I was playing golf with some people yesterday that knew Con and said, gosh, nobody ever said a bad word about him. And there's probably bad words to say. Maybe his family was the only one, but he did all the dirty work, didn't he?
You know, you kind of hit the nail on the head. You know, Rudy was kind of the face of the athletic department at that time, but Con did do all the dirty work. You know, everything, all the foundation, a lot of things that happened, it was Con behind the scenes. You know, he would go and get whatever contracts we needed. He was very savvy as far as business. And Con, whatever problem you brought to him, he always seemed to figure it out.
You know, it was a family that was so deep in sports. Craig Colbert, one of Con's sons, played the big leagues with the Giants. Is a scout currently with the Philadelphia Phillies. Chris was, amongst other things, I mean, he was a golf coach at UTEP. He's just an incredible athlete. Kerry played the minor leagues with the Tigers and has been the operations guy with the New Mexico Bowl. That was really part of their family. I mean, that was, you know, Joanne had 3 boys and a girl, and Con, and that was, they were everywhere. That was their life, wasn't it?
Oh, they were the ultimate sports family. You know, his kids were very, very talented, not only on the field, but very, very bright. And Joanne, she was the glue to that family, man. Yeah. Whatever she said, she was a drill sergeant. She was incredible. Her and Con were an incredible team together.
Yeah, it's amazing. Somebody said to me the other day, and I think it was yesterday, that Rudy was good because Con was great. And I thought about that, and I talked to Rudy briefly over the weekend too. Rudy was pretty good. I mean, that was a pretty good time, a pretty good run for UNM athletics. I don't know. You know better than I. Was Rudy good because Con was great?
I think that's a really, really good statement. You know, Rudy, like I said, he was the face, you know, very jovial, everything. Con, you know, in athletics, a lot of times there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that nobody knows about. Yeah. And that's because whoever his or her right-hand person is, they're incredible at what they do. And that was Con Colbert.
Janice Ruggiero is with us. Janice, longtime senior women's administrator, senior associate athletic director at the University of New Mexico. We're remembering Con Colbert, who passed away at 88 years old this weekend.
And Janice, when you look at that time too, and I think people might have forgotten where UNM was, especially when it came to some of the women's sports, especially basketball, when the program went away, and then when it came back, when Don Flanagan took over, especially that time for the Olympic sports and women's basketball. What was the work that was done by all those people involved to get that back and running to where it is right now?
I mean, first of all, you hire an icon like Don Flanagan. That was kind of set in the ground. But then you had supporters of him that were Con and Rudy that helped so much and realized, hey, this can really blow up. And it did, with Coach Flanagan and then their support financially and everything. That just blossomed, and it wouldn't have happened, obviously, first of all, without Coach, but more importantly, without the support of Con and Rudy.
I'm looking back at some of the people who were there, Brita Bova, Bill McGillis. I'm looking at you and Bill Richards and Con and Rudy and Darren Dunn and Greg Remington and Mark Cosen and Scott Dotson and just some of the people, Jada. You guys had an incredibly, incredibly talented staff back then.
We had an incredibly talented staff, but it was an incredibly talented family because we really believed at that time. We were a family, and we were very lucky.
Yeah. When I've heard stories, and people would tell me, Con was so incredibly blunt, and at times he would tell you what you didn't want to hear, but told you what you needed to hear, and so I've talked to, and this wasn't just this weekend, over the years, and I've known Con. I mean, he didn't BS you. You knew where you stand. He wasn't going to play games. But it was probably, while you didn't want to hear it, you needed to hear it, and you knew where you stand, and there was no gray area, right? I mean, you knew where we were going, and that's probably why things progressed.
Con was exactly how you described him, and you may not have wanted to hear what he had to say, but it was definitely words of wisdom. And what I loved about him is when you went and said, hey, I need advice or here's a problem or something, he was just a straight shooter. And sometimes you'd leave there going, I really didn't want to hear that.
Yeah.
And then, 6 months later, you're like, God, he hit it right on the head. That was exactly what was going to happen. And that's exactly what I need to do.
He gave a damn, didn't he?
Oh, he cared so much. Yes. He, Con was kind of stoic, very straight, but he had a heart of gold. When you had an issue or a problem, he'd close that door and he'd give you a hug, and he'd talk to you because he really cared. But he was tough.
Yeah, no, he was incredibly tough. And Janice Ruggiero's with us for a few more minutes. We're talking about the life of Con Colbert. So he was old school. But Janice, is it possible to be old school but still be a revolutionary? Or not a revolutionary, just be able to be ahead of your times. Meaning, Con was old school. This is how it's going to be. But I think he always saw the big picture, didn't he?
Oh, he had a lot of foresight.
Yeah, thank you.
He was a visionary. He could see things, but he's like, okay, this is where we want to be 10 years from now. So he didn't just look at the present. He always looked at, we're going to do this right now because we're going to be in a better place 5 years or 10 years. So he was a visionary. He was really good at that.
I'm going to ask you this with the preface of saying that, look, looking back, and this is no commentary on anything that's going on, because I think what's going on right now at UNM is really, really positive. But what was Rudy and Con like? What was it like working for them? What was their dynamic? What made that work?
What made it work? They were best friends. They complemented each other so well. What Rudy didn't have, Con had, and what Con didn't have, Rudy had, and they were best friends, and they did an incredible job together. They worked so long together that before they were talking, they already knew, and they knew what each other was good at, and they let each other shine at whatever they were good at and let them run with it.
Can I tell you that I might not have known this until just this second, but part of Con is run off on the New Mexico Bowl, because I've worked with Kerry since the day we started. Kerry is his son, and I've said to Kerry so many times, I can't do what you do. And he says, well, I can't do what you do. And he said to me when he retired, Kerry did full time, he said, thanks for letting me do my job, because that's why he and I worked. We never had staff meetings. He did what I can't do, and I think I did what he can't do. And it like, as you're saying that, I'm like, well, it kind of sounds like what we did for her all those years.
And it's so true, and I learned that so well. Rudy and Con both taught me, hey, whatever you're good at, be comfortable enough, hire somebody else, that they're not, that where you're not good at, that's their strength. And you guys trust each other and work together, and that's what those two guys did.
Yeah. I was just trying to put a quantifier on it. When I told people this weekend who Con was and how important he was to that time in UNM athletics, and while the people who knew him knew, but so many people just didn't know his name or know who he was, I guess I'll close this by, how would you describe Con and the importance of his impact on athletics at that time?
People don't realize, just like you said, who he was, but he was the glue that kept the department together, because he was so driven and so visionary, and financially, personnel, everything from A to Z. He was really, really good at seeing that, but he was good at reading people, and he read people and he helped people, and people that don't really realize that's a huge skill, especially in the athletic department. Helping people where they need it, filling the holes. He was the best.
Yeah, I would say he was so strong, so honest, so
absolutely.
wise, and just so true.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Janice, I appreciate it. I hate having to talk to you in moments like this, but I love having to talk to you in moments like this, if that makes any sense. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you doing this. Con was incredible, and it's so great that people will know.
Yeah, and I know I talked to Frank yesterday. I think UNM's going to put out a release today or tomorrow, and recognizing and honoring the life of Con Colbert. But he was, he was so good in his role, and as good as there ever was. And I'll miss him, and I know you will as well. And everybody I talked to was just was really shocked. Janice, be well. Appreciate the time, and we'll catch up soon.
Thank you.
See you, Janice Ruggiero. Carrie, I was thinking of Carrie. JJ, I don't know if you ever met Con. Old school, right? Old hard ass, like just like you'd look like, who's that grumpy old guy, right? And you need that. And grumpy maybe with a heart of gold. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Like if he knew you were working, if he knew you were good people, he will go to the wall. He will do whatever for you. Honest as the day is long, hardworking, wise, truthful, and insanely loyal. And I just, there was a great period of athletics when he and Rudy were there, and he was as essential as any personality. And look, Rudy was great, and I'm not downplaying Rudy, because Rudy was the dog and Rudy was the boss. But I think Rudy would tell you it would have been pretty difficult to do what they did without that team with him and Con. So thanks for indulging me on this one. Appreciate you.
Thanks for helping a lot of people learn something they probably didn't know.
Yeah. All right. Diana Gonzalez is going to be with us coming up at 8 o'clock. We'll talk global football, 505-246-0610. Aaron Jones and International Protective Service watch my home. Not only when I'm not there, when I'm there. I see them there twice a day. They're always there. I sometimes just come out of the house, and there's the presence of the IPS vehicle. I know that you've seen their vehicles around town. Do you know who they are? It's a private security company who's been providing security for homeowners since 2006. Started in Fort Hills, and now homeowners all over Albuquerque and business owners trust IPS to protect what's important to them. You go out of town, they'll pick up the newspapers, the mail, roll the garbage cans to the curb and back, pick up packages that are left. They keep the bad guys away, and for about $5 a day, you can have private security for you and your business or for your home and protect what's important. Committed to our city and to your protection, it's International Protective Service. Call IPS 505-897-2420, 505-897-2420, or online at ipsglobal.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated, with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the Pet Supply Superstore. ClarksPets.com.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
Jackson Compaction wants to help you keep your green.
And keep the community green as well.
Jackson Compaction has worked hard to maintain the same prices since day one. Always easy and painless trash removal with professional crews and quality service. If it's non-hazardous waste, debris, or trash on your land, leave it to us. At Jackson Compaction, we're dedicated to ensuring the conservation of our environment.
You trash it,
We smash it. Jackson Compaction, we've earned a reputation for great results.
The energy landscape is limitless and ever-changing. Cleaner energy resources are crucial to New Mexico's environment. For 100 years, PNM has utilized cutting-edge technology and employed hard-working New Mexicans to ensure that we have consistent, reliable energy when we need it. For life's loudest moments, quietest moments, and every moment in between. We're dedicated to providing you with energy now and into the future. All you have to do is dream of what to do with it next.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your...
Hell yeah.
Yes.
That's a yes.
This is 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal.
Big baseball weekend. Mets and Braves. Dodgers swept the Padres. You can get into that as well. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta and J.J. Buck. Danny Gonzalez coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. Talk Global Football. 9:15, Wyoming head coach Craig Bohl will be with us. You're in this morning. HB said Davalos stole the student seats, and there was no surplus when he left. He sent me a story. I'm quite certain there was, actually. Richard's in. Ice Hopes lose 5 in a row, and then the 6-1 got rained out. Is that what happened this weekend?
Yes.
Richard said when Sushan was on the OD a couple weeks ago, Jeffy, and said JJ's organization was winning everywhere but AAA and Major League Baseball, reminded me of ... Yeah, they're done as far as contending. It's going to be rough. Out of the ball pitch over the weekend, New Mexico United suffered their worst home defeat in their brief history, 3-0 to the hands of Miami FC. I did watch a chunk of it. It was really interesting comments afterwards where Zach Prince and Josh Suggs were saying, they thought they played well. They thought they did have more shots. Getting beat 3-0, and that's their second home loss in a row. They go to LA Galaxy 2, Los Dos, if you prefer, next week. But getting beat 3-0 and 2 in a row, that was a tough week where they were looking at 6 points and got none.
Yeah, they are 3-3-5 at home.
3 wins, 3 losses, 5 draws.
Yeah. They've won 7 games on the road. So they're a good road team, but they'd like to capitalize on home field advantage, having that environment. And this one, it is hard to wrap your head around. Like you say you didn't watch the game intently. You're like 3-0. Wow, Miami must be really good. They're similar, about 4 points behind where United sits. They're a playoff team in the Eastern Conference. But then you hear the head coach and players talk about they feel like possession-wise, setting up the attempts, it's one of their best games they've ever had.
Yeah.
You scored 0 goals.
Like
how is that possible?
The last goal was a brutal giveaway, and all 3 were tough giveaways.
They hit the
post 4 times.
Post 4 times. They had
times.
chances. Yeah. And so here's the thing with New Mexico. What are they doing? They're looking at throwing more bodies in there. They're signing another player today. That's going to come out this morning.
Kevon Frater coming back today?
That's what it looks like. So they're just throwing forwards out there, and it's not. They're looking for someone to step up and finish.
Well, they got outscored 5-1 in the 2 games at home this week. Did you watch it on Saturday?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll lean on you on this one. Were they the better team? Did they control possession? They got beat 3-0. Were they?
They're in a point too, as what you brought up. Like their mistakes, they're being punished for them immediately.
Brutal mistakes.
Sometimes, you give up the ball. All right, chance going the other way. Team might miss, or there's a big save. Right now, it's like they make a mistake, the other team is scoring a goal on them.
Yeah, and that's kind of. They had the 4 or 5 minute run against Sac Republic on Wednesday, where they gave up the 2 quick ones and lose 2-1 at home, and came out of there. And I will tell you, I love their optimism. Every game, if it's a draw, we let 2 points get away. If they get beat, wow, we let 3 points get away. And it was never the other guys are better than us. And I'll give them that. They look at it and they feel that way. And they're a good team, and they're standing in 4th place of the table, and they're in a good place.
They're still, it's a long season, and you've seen the flows. You've seen a team that had a little stretch where they were the one catching the breaks, scoring the stoppage time goals, getting the luck back on their side, and then this stretch where they're playing good teams. Sacramento Republic's a very good team. You make a couple mistakes, they punish you immediately. Miami, solid team, comes in, punishes you quickly when you make a mistake. And a long week just to sit on these 2 games before going to LA.
All right, so that happened over the weekend. 505-246-0610 if you want to get on that. How about the Dodgers and Padres? I don't know if outwardly they're saying that was a statement. But that was a hell of a statement by LA this weekend, and not just beating the Padres, but pummeling San Diego. Cody Bellinger 2 home runs yesterday, 5-0.
It's absolutely a statement because
yes. Oh, there's no doubt it's a statement.
Dodgers are still in a different tier, all by themselves.
Are they 75 and?
They're 75 and 33.
Yeah.
The closest team to
me 42 games
is the Mets because of their pitching staff.
Yeah.
But the Dodgers just look at San Diego and say, "Cool story.
Yeah.
Have fun with your headlines."
Yeah. Yeah.
The offense that you guys are saying is going to be awesome, well, it has to be on the field. Fernando Tatis isn't back yet. He's still in Double-A.
Yeah.
So you can have all those wonderful graphics of, oh, my gosh, look at this lineup. Tatis, Machado, Soto. It's not the way it looks right now.
It's really – and look, they're going to be good, and they will be good. Dodgers are
I don't know
at a different level. A good buddy of mine, a longtime Padre fan, sent me something over the weekend, and I said, yeah, no, dude, the Padres are nice. Dodgers are different right now,
and that's the team you got to beat.
Yeah, well, and San Diego's credit for trying.
Unless San Diego is hoping someone else knocks them off, the Dodgers have won 17 over the last 19
17
games.
out of the last 19 against San Diego.
I love what the Padres are doing.
Yes,
because it is exactly what the Dodgers do. and they're saying, all right, we'll throw money at free agents. We will draft and develop prospects that teams want. Then we'll use these players to get established stars. Because if you look at that, 15 and a half games. That's the gap between the Dodgers and Padres right now.
No, look, that's over, and the Padres will be a wild card team and try to make a run. And I really like what the Padres are doing. They're trying. With the Dodgers, like I was thinking the other day, Corey Seager was really good at shortstop. Like a Dodger.
And it's not as simple as the Padres will be in. They only have a 1.5 game lead for that final wild card spot.
They've been playing the Dodgers. What the Dodgers did this week, do you know what they did this week? They swept the Giants, then swept the Padres. I mean, if you're a Dodger fan, Adrian, does it get any better than that? You swept the Giants.
Luckily for the Padres, Brewers traded them their best pitcher.
Okay.
And then
But
blew a couple games as well.
You got to get there. You got to get to the back end. All right, Danny Gonzalez is going to be with us when we come back. Louisville football coach, as practice ramps up again today. They're going to start bumping into each other. It's the opening drive. Louisville football next on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the Pet Supply Superstore. ClarksPets.com.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
Jackson Compaction wants to help you keep your green.
And keep the community green as well.
Jackson Compaction has worked hard to maintain the same prices since day one. Always easy and painless trash removal with professional crews and quality service. If it's non-hazardous waste, debris, or trash on your land, leave it to us. At Jackson Compaction, we're dedicated to ensuring the conservation of our environment.
You trash it,
we smash it. Jackson Compaction, we've earned a reputation for great results.
The energy landscape is limitless and ever-changing. Cleaner energy resources are crucial to New Mexico.
Proud to be a Cumulus media station, even if they're not that proud of us. Now, voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. This is the opening drive with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta, and J.J. Buck.
Getting closer and closer to that opener, September 3rd out of University Stadium, Lobos and Maine. Fall camp opens last week. They're going to start bumping into each other this week. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta and J.J. Buck. Meeting starts in about 15 minutes. So the head football coach at the University of New Mexico, Danny Gonzalez, joins us this morning. Appreciate the time. Good morning, Danny. How you living?
Great. Good morning, guys. We're in the midst of fall camp, so everything's going good.
All right,
How
so
are you guys this morning?
We're well, thank you. The change, like just the attitude, the life, there was a switch that was flipped last week, wasn't there?
Oh, for sure. The energy that gets a little bit ramped up, everybody gets excited. The first 2 days, you have to do it in helmets, so nobody's really, overly tired yet. They're not bruised up or bumped or anything, so the energy was really good day 2, and they got a day off yesterday because we don't practice on Sundays, and then we'll see this morning, and we're going to walk through and lift weights and all those things, and then tonight at 7:30 we're actually going to run into each other a little bit, so it'll be fun.
You said the first couple of weeks we're going to beat the tar out of them a little bit, rough them up, and then get them in shape and get them ready for that first game. What do the first couple of weeks for these guys look like, and are they? You think they're ready for it?
Oh yeah, no, The days of having 2 days are over for multiple reasons. Rule changes.
Yeah.
We have them all summer long, and it's mandatory that they do what we want them to do all summer long. So they're in really good shape by the time we start camp. So that part of it, getting them into shape, is over. Now it's just a matter of getting their bodies acclimated to running into each other. And so the first 2 days, by rules, you have to go in helmets only, and then you go 3 days in just shoulder pads. And then the 6th day, you can scrimmage a little bit. So today will be the first day that we run into each other. Now, their day, it's a long day for those guys. They have breakfast starting at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then we have meetings this morning. We'll do some install for tonight's practice. They'll lift weights for about an hour and 10 minutes because you have to maintain your strength that we gained from the end of March till now. They'll get lunch. They get about a 2-hour break in the afternoon, which in about 3 days, that 2 hours will be nothing but sleep. And then we bring them back at 4 o'clock for dinner, and then we practice at 7:30. And between the dinner and practice, there's some meetings and treatment and all those things. And then we go for about 2 hours, so practice ends about 9:30. And then they go to bed, and they're back up here at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. So, it'll be that way for about 3 weeks. We'll do that every day. Sundays, they have the mornings off to go to church and do those things. And then over the next 2 weeks, like I said, today will be the first part of it. We'll go for about 2 hours of nothing but running into each other and try and get them to the brink of exhaustion, and then we'll bring them back before we play Maine.
Danny, it's your third year as head coach, kind of really the second, though. The first one was just so bizarre because of the pandemic, and then there's last year. What's different for you? How are you different? How do you look at it? It's one thing. You've been in football for your whole adult life, and I get it. But now it's your third season as being a head coach at camp. What do you know now? What's different? How do you feel differently, aside from just having your recruits in?
That's the biggest thing. Is it's our team. The guys that we've been working with now for 3 years, they know what our expectation is. And the players are doing most of the monitoring as far as guys not doing things right in workouts and all those things. The coaches aren't the ones yelling. So our personalities have taken on to them, and they're doing things the way that we expect them to do them. I really enjoy being around our football team because I think we have a bunch of great guys that'll work hard. And the whole mentality of, you don't have to have the most talent, but you have to have enough talent. If you can turn them into a bunch of badasses, then we're going to be a really good football team. And so I enjoy that aspect of it. Now, the scheduling and all those things that head coaches do and all the different meetings and fundraising, I'm getting more used to it and getting more acclimated to it. I'm able to divide my time a little bit more. And then once we start football, all that stuff goes out the window so we can win some games during fall camp. So right now it's total 100% focused on nothing but our football players.
Danny, what does a quarterback competition look like in fall camp? How do you structure it? What are the things you're looking for out of those players when their moment comes to run the offense?
Well, first off, they're evaluated every day in every way, not just on the football field. I watch them walk around this building. I watch the guys, how they gravitate to them, who they're gravitating to, what their interactions are at team meals, what their interactions are during position meetings, unit meetings. You kind of take a hold of every single thing they do all day long to see who those guys are gravitating to. And then what they do on the field obviously is the most important, the guy that makes the most plays. The hardest thing to do right now is to make sure that we give them all enough reps to be able to determine who is the best and who helps us be the best football team. During the first couple of days, it was easy because nobody's running into each other. But now we'll start dividing them up. I mean, they're going to get some equal reps between the ones and twos. We do a lot of good on good, meaning our one defense against our one offense around here, because I'm a firm believer that the only way that you get good at something is to actually do it, and you have to do it with the best of your ability. So we'll have a better idea now that there's actually bodies. I mean, you can stand in the pocket when you know you're not going to get hit or not get bumped into and deliver the ball in a timely fashion. Well, now that those guys are going to be hearing collisions right in front of their face and the hands are going to get closer and things will be a little bit more aggressive and violent, we'll have an idea of how those guys handle those situations.
Lobo head football coach Jenna Gonzalez joining us here on the opening drive, and you mentioned the collisions in front of them. What is different about the offensive line this year? I know new players coming in, but what can make this unit better?
Well, I mean, the size and strength is a significant part of what gives them a chance to be successful. Now, they have to be athletic. I mean, some of the things that we do where we're pulling guys around the corner and all those things, they have to be able to do that in space. But we've seen over the last couple of days, and like I said, we're only in helmets, so there's not a lot of contact, at least out on the perimeter. Those guys inside, they like running into each other even when they don't have pads on. And that's what you like. When you got a bunch of guys that don't even want to come close to each other, you've got a long way to go. And we've seen a couple of the old linemen do some really spectacular things that I haven't seen in the last couple of years of dominating D linemen. Well, that's a catch-22. It's good for the offensive line, but what the heck's our defensive line doing? So we'll see some guys get a little bit more, or hopefully a lot more aggressive now that we have the pads on, and we'll get a better evaluation of where we're at. I think the guys are doing a good job in their communication early. All those things that we tried to do to get them to gel, I mean, that stuff needs to come to fruition and come to fruition pretty quick.
Danny, you got to make these guys believe. I know you got to make a community believe. I know you believe. I know you and your coaching staff believe because you've done it. When you look in their eyes, do they believe that they can win this year? Do they believe what you're telling them?
I don't think there's any doubt that they expect to have success. They expect to win games. I honestly, I don't think that was the case just a year ago. I mean, I said it right after the Texas A&M game.
I remember.
Our football team expected nothing out of that game. There was no chance of us even competing in that game because they didn't believe. And I think the attitude is completely different. I think the weight room and Coach Baker and those things helped. But I think they know what task we have in front of us, and I think they're excited to attack it.
And that's why I asked you that. I remember your comments after that, and I remember what we all saw. And so we had a lot of conversations of how can you succeed if you don't believe you can succeed, and it feels like you've got a bunch of different guys in there, and you can say all you want, it's got to come from inside that room.
Oh, it most definitely does, and you have to. I mean, we've got about 4 guys left that were on this roster that went through the things that this program went through before we got here. So obviously they've been hearing a different voice for the last 3 years. They've been hearing a different message. We've been able to show them some things and some success. And we've got a bunch of things on tape that we've been able to show them of them doing good and them doing bad, and it's the exact same guys and the guys that we're going to play with this season. So from the talent standpoint, we showed them, okay, you can do this. You've proven you can do it. Even in Texas A&M, once you guys settled down, there were times that they couldn't stop our guys up front on defense. We could cover them just as well as anybody in the country. So we have proof. Now it's a matter of believing in it all the time, and it not just hoping you do it, expecting to do it. And so that's kind of the transition that we're going for, from hope to believe.
Danny, you have a sophomore running back in Nate Jones who's a believer in your offensive line. He has some high expectations for himself, but how has he done working himself back into this team and kind of the role that he can have now? What do you see from Nate Jones?
Well, I think Nate Jones has done a great job in the weight room. He's done a great job off the field, academically getting himself back to where he needs to be. There's a deal called progress towards degree, and if they don't maintain that and follow that, 1, they're ineligible, but 2, I don't allow them to play because these guys, football's not a career for these guys. It's not a career for anybody. Football ends on football's terms unless you're someone like Barry Sanders who decides to go out on top. So they have to use football as an opportunity to excel themselves. And I think the year that Nate Jones didn't get the opportunity to play in games and was just a scout team guy, and I think that did a lot to him mental-wise to prepare him for the opportunity that he has ahead. And I think I'm excited to see what he does. Now, there's still an opportunity for him to he's got to get 100% back in good graces, and he's working his way there. It's been a long road, but I am so proud of that young man from where he came from and where he's at right now.
Lastly, Danny, before you go, I wanted to ask you about Con Colbert. I know you work with Con, and Janice Ruggiero was just in. Con was the deputy athletic director for Rudy Davalos for all those years, and really the guy who was behind, that did all the dirty work, that did so much laid the groundwork that was so pivotal to those years of UNM athletics, and he passed away this weekend at the age of 88. And I know you knew him and thought fondly of him. I just wanted to ask you your thoughts of Con before you go back and hit your team.
Well, first off, I mean, condolences to Con's family, because what a great family they are, and a great history, and one here in New Mexico, and all the things that they do that is beyond our great state. But Con is quintessential to, it's just like being a head coach. If you want to be a really good head coach, you better hire 10 assistants that are willing to take a bullet for you and do whatever they can to make your program the best it can possibly be. And that's who Con was. He did. It didn't matter if it was grunt work. It didn't matter if it was out in front of the spotlight. It didn't matter. He was going to get his hands dirty and do whatever it took. And, I mean, Rudy Davalos obviously had a great tenure here. Heck, there's a basketball facility practice named after him. He had the success, and we had the success that we had because of the two of them working together and what Con was willing to do. So it's really sad. I mean, he lived a great life, and being 88 years old is, heck, I hope to live that long.
Right.
I mean, unbelievable, and he was still going. Hey, I'm going to start this real quick, this team meeting, in just 2 seconds. Listen, this should be interesting. Good morning. Championships. Working on? All right, we got a big day ahead of us. Okay, make sure you guys do a great job this morning, paying attention, sit up, stay alert. Coach G? Sorry about that, guys. Appreciate that. But continue on. I mean, Con was just an unbelievable human being. See, it's time to get to work. We're getting a whole bunch of fun now. Get real excited. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you.
Go well. See you. Danny Gonzalez, head football coach, and meetings have started. That's kind of cool. We were right there on the meeting stuff.
Starting the meetings.
Yeah. That was good. All right. It's always good stuff. I think, to me, the biggest thing is, JJ, you can preach all you want from the top. Believing that you can win has got to come from inside that building. And is it different this year? Because I remember after the A&M game, and Danny says, we didn't think we could win. We went in there and literally did not believe we could win. And is it different this year? And we'll see.
Oh, Jeff, yes. We'll get into belief, because you can believe all you want. We got to have the horses to run the race.
No doubt. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
You might not have the biggest garage on the block, but with eBay.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the pet supply superstore. ClarksPets.com.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company. Dream style stucco. Stucco is the way to go. A Southwest tradition, beautiful and durable. The perfect combination. Your favorite color, your favorite texture. You're gonna love it when they put it all together. Through any weather, nothing looks better. From the smooth to the rough, they really know their stuff. Nobody does stucco like Dream Style Stucco.
For certified collision and body repair, visit the experts at CarCrafters. 5 locations in Albuquerque and Rio Rancho. Visit carcrafters.com.
CarCrafters, it's like it never happened.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Rudy.
All right, we'll open you up now at 505-246-0610, 9:15 this morning, about an hour from now-ish. Conversation with Wyoming head coach Craig Bohl as we continue our Mountain West Conference football previews. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, J.J. Buck. You can get in on the baseball over the weekend. Dodgers sweeping the Padres after sweeping the Giants. Dodger fans loving life right now. You can get in on the Mets, United if you'd like, and the football. All right, woke up to this story this morning, and it's a weird, abrupt. Give me your thoughts on the Cale Gundy resigning at Oklahoma story. I'll give you the details in a moment, but
well, I think you need to give the details.
Yeah,
first,
all right. Well, I just wanted your impression. All right, so here's the deal. Cale Gundy has been at Oklahoma. He was a quarterback there. He's the brother of Mike Gundy. I'm a man. I'm 40. That guy. He resigned after using what was termed a shameful and hurtful language during a team meeting. So, evidently, Cale Gundy was at a meeting, saw one of the players that seemed like he was doing something different, went over, grabbed the iPad, and read what was on the iPad, and a word that was there that he read off the iPad was, again, in his words, shameful and hurtful. And because he said those words, he resigned. Quote, this is Cale Gundy. Today, with great anguish, I announce my resignation. I apologize to those who are disappointed by this news. I owe it to Sooner Nation to be transparent about what led to this decision. Last week during a film session, I instructed my players to take notes. I noticed a player was distracted and picked up his iPad and read aloud the words that were written on his screen. The words displayed had nothing to do with football. One particular word that I should never, under any circumstance, have uttered was displayed on that screen. In the moment, I did not even realize what I was reading, and as soon as I did, I was horrified. I want to be very clear. The words I read aloud from that screen were not my words. What I said was not malicious. It wasn't even intentional. Still, I am mature enough to know that the word I said was shameful and hurtful, no matter my intentions. The unfortunate reality is that someone in my position can cause harm without even meaning to do so. In that circumstance, a man of character accepts accountability. I take responsibility for my mistake. I apologize, end quote. And he resigned. All right, so what's now I'll ask you your reaction to that.
Well, the reaction to this is going about how you'd expect. In terms of the Sooner supporters who are pro Coach Gundy, you have to. There's a lot of factors involved. Everyone is assuming what the word is, and we don't know for sure, but everyone's assuming it was a racial slur. Because you say a lot of curse words in those rooms and on the practice fields.
Mm-hmm.
So start there. First, is it a word is it banned by the coaches? Because I know some coaches do ban that, and then that makes it different for the player, because it's really easy for these Sooner fans to say that player should have his scholarship stripped and kicked off the team without knowing what their specific reasoning is behind how they handle their locker room. And this is one that, if you're in that position room, if I'm Brett Venables, I take all those players aside.
The head coach
at Oklahoma. I take all those players into a room and sit them down and go, all right, this happened. How y'all feeling? Do you still trust in Coach? Do you believe this was a mistake? Or is there something more there? I start there, and if those players go, yeah, it was awkward, but we know Coach and we think this was a mistake, I move on with him as a coach.
Then you don't accept his resignation if you're Brett Venables in that situation?
Because it also feels like,
all right,
there's always something a little bit more when it comes to a resignation.
If this is it, and I think that's a really fair observation, is there more to it? Is there a history with that coach and that issue? If this is it, should this coach lose his job / career?
It's lasted a long time at Oklahoma.
Should he lose his job over reading that word off of a player's iPad? Should he? I'm going to tell you stand alone. I'll stand here and tell you no. I don't think so. Do you think he should?
No, that's what the scenario I just laid out. I talked to those players that were in that room with him, that are around him. Because it's also one too. Is there more issues?
Yeah.
And well, how could he be a coach that long? Well, you know how people can stay in positions of power for a long time, regardless of their actions. At times, it's what was he reading? Was he so caught up in the moment of, making a point out of this kid that he wasn't like,
damn it, pay attention. What's here? Let me read it. Here's what's on here.
Because think about it too, Jeff. There's times where you'll pull up things cold.
No doubt.
But you stop yourself.
but I'm hardly as emotional as he probably was.
So he was dead set on, all right, I'm making a point out of this, and just bull rush through whatever he's reading.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. Brett Venables, the head coach to whom you referred, quote, "It is with sadness that I accept Coach Gundy's resignation. He's dedicated more than half of his life to Oklahoma football and has served our program and university well. We're thankful for that commitment. We also acknowledge that in stepping aside, he's placed the program and the welfare of our student athletes first. In coaching and in life, we're all accountable for our actions and the resulting outcomes. The culture we're building in our program is based on mutual respect. Our staff is here to develop successful student athletes, but also young men of character. As the leaders of this program, it's essential that we hold ourselves to the highest standards as we model for our players the type of men we want to become," end quote. I'm not sure. I mean, there was a lot. It's kind of a word salad in large respect. This is a tough one for me, because unless there's something behind it, unless there's a history, unless there's an issue, I'm struggling to thinking a man should lose his career over this, over reading the words off of an iPad of a young man who was not paying attention in a team meeting.
And this is a tough one too, is if it comes out of who that player is,
it's quite a burden.
He's got to be in the transfer portal because those Oklahoma fans, they're gonna be after this.
I don't know
kid.
how it's not gonna come out.
I feel bad for this kid. Especially if he wasn't one that was like, oh, this is terrible. Let's get this coach out of here.
Yeah,
because they are hunting for this dude.
So I haven't seen a lot of reaction on it. So Oklahoma fans losing their mind on this?
They're like, this kid needs to be kicked off the team immediately.
Because this isn't just a coach who, look, coaches are real transient and they come and go, right? This is a guy who has been in Oklahoma basically his whole adult life, right? I mean, since he was 17, 18 years old. This is a coach, this is a guy who's been synonymous with Oklahoma, who's been a fixture at Oklahoma for forever. He's been a Sooner. He played quarterback there from 1990 to 93. He, at the time, set nearly every school record by the time he graduated. He came back as part of Bob Stoops' staff in 1999. He's been part of all of Oklahoma's 14 Big 12 titles. Its 2000 national championship. He spent 16 years as the running backs coach there, 7 more coaching inside receivers. He was their assistant head coach. This isn't a guy who, you don't know some of the guys on the staff, right? This is, you take any staff, including the staff at the school you love, you probably don't know two assistant coaches. But this is a lifer there. And so I would imagine, while I haven't seen what you've seen, JJ, I would imagine that OU fan is up in arms protecting their own.
Yes.
Because on the surface, this really feels extreme to me. And I guess I need to hear why I'm wrong. I'm listening. But I guess I need to hear, it is just flat out unacceptable to utter that word. And I hear that. And I struggle sometimes with context. JJ, if he said that word, if he used that word and we're all assuming what the word was, right? If he used it in conversation, if he read it off a young man's iPad, the young man wrote it, and he was making a point that this guy's not paying attention in this meeting. But yet, I mean, there's just no way that it's acceptable to cross his lips, is it right?
And I think a lot of people are wondering, like, how did he even get to that point? Like, how do you not stop yourself? Yeah. But you're in full-on, I ain't having it with this guy right now mode.
Yeah.
Proving a point, and here you are.
John, stay there. You're up as soon as we get back. I got to take this break at 505-246-0610. Love your reaction. I know there's a lot of Oklahoma fans out there as well. This is interesting. It's going to be divisive, I imagine. Or is it? Maybe it won't be. I mean, is it cut and dry? I don't know. 505-246-0610. How's your car looking? All these storms now, it's dirty, huh? You're dragging mud inside and outside. It's filthy from the storms and everything else. Call On the Spot Automotive Detailing. Have them take care of that for you. With all the heat and everything else, you don't want to go out there and wash and clean and wax your car. And by the way, you can't do it as well as On the Spot Automotive Detailing can. They'll come to you wherever it's convenient, whenever it's convenient for you, and they'll detail your vehicle inside, outside, under the hood, under the seats, behind everything, around the tires and rims. When they're done, your vehicle looks, feels, and smells like the day you took it off the lot. Remember how fun it was to drive? Oh, and by the way, I told you, they come to you where it's convenient for you, at your office, at your home. You don't go to them. On the Spot Automotive Detailing has ceramic coating. They apply it by hand. It's the best way to protect your paint for years to come. And they offer a 10% discount to our military. Call them today. Book your appointment online at otsdetailing.com or at 505-859-2859. That's 505-859-2859. On the Spot Automotive Detailing.
For 50.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS Network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the pet supply superstore. ClarksPets.com.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number 1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company. Dream style stucco. Stucco is the way to go. The Southwest tradition, beautiful and durable. The perfect combination. Your favorite color, your favorite texture. You're gonna love it when they put it all together. Through any weather, nothing looks better. From the smooth to the rough, they really know their stuff. Nobody does stucco like Dream Style Stucco.
For certified collision and body repair, visit the experts at Car Crafters. 5 locations in Albuquerque and Rio Rancho. Visit carcrafters.com.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Cale Gundy, the assistant football coach at Oklahoma, former quarterback, resigned. He was in a team meeting. One of the players he saw wasn't paying attention, went over and grabbed his iPad and read what was on the iPad, and there was a term, a word that he says I should never utter, and because of that, he resigned. 505-246-0610, that's how you can get to us. John, thanks for holding. Good morning to you.
Good morning. How's everybody doing?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Hey, I just wanted to congratulate everybody over there that won an award Friday. That's awesome. You guys are really great. I appreciate what you do.
Thank you. It was a fun night.
Yeah. I read that article about Coach Gundy this morning while I was having coffee when I woke up. And I thought, well, it's kind of odd in a way. At least he took ownership of it. Maybe he shouldn't have grabbed, or I don't know how. If he took it, grabbed it, what kind of authority does he have to take something from a player like that? I don't know. That's another issue by itself. Where is responsible for the player to pay attention what he's supposed to be doing? And the other thing is, I'm with JJ on why did the coach go that far and even utter it? Well, I'm sure he was angry. Hey, look, I'm the coach, you're the player, you pay attention. And perhaps when he got to the word, he probably should have said, well, I'm not going to say it.
Yeah, no, that's right.
But he did. And then the other thing is, there's not enough information in the story to tell us anything else about what the word was. Was it a racial slur? Was it a white player? Was it a African-American player? Who knows? We don't know that. So it's hard to make an assumption or speculate on whatever happened. But I'm sure something enough happened, perhaps some kind of threats, or not threats to bodily harm, but to the football program at Oklahoma, that if the coach didn't resign, we're gonna bolt. So who knows what happened? We don't have enough info, and I'm sure it's going to start leaking out. But on the face of it, like you said, Jeff, I think I wouldn't have resigned until perhaps they did an investigation. But I do applaud Coach Cuddy for getting out in front of it. I don't understand why there wasn't enough info when you go public with something like this. But at least the guy admitted he shouldn't have done what he done. So there's something more to the story, like JJ said.
Yep.
There's something out there that we haven't learned yet.
All
so
right.
that's my opinion on that. On the other thing, you brought up the Dodgers. I'm a lifelong Dodger fan, as you guys know, and they're playing extremely well. And the amazing thing about this team is, as much as I don't care for the head coach, they're plugging in players, because a lot of players have gone on the DL. They come back on the DL, come back on the DL, and they keep clicking away. So, but I'm cautiously optimistic, because I'm afraid of the Mets. Max Scherzer and Jacob deGrom is back.
Yep.
You got to get through the playoffs before you get to the World Series. So you guys have a good day, and thank you for letting me talk.
Thank you, John. Appreciate you. Dodger fans that way, you know why? Because their postseason record over the last decade. That's why Dodger fans really, really good regular season. But what happens? He thinks like you're thinking. There's got to be something more to it, right?
It feels that way. And a lot of this, too, is what are the team rules in terms of what they require of the players. And if we are assuming he uttered a racial slur, there are some coaches that say, hey, I don't want this in the locker room. Because it's so easy to be the dude on Twitter saying, let's kick this player off the team. How dare he have that on his iPad? So that is, well, can we go there yet with that? I don't think so, because we don't necessarily know the team rules in that regard. And how do the rest of the players feel in that meeting room? Can they understand it was a mistake? Do they think the coach was over his skis trying to prove a point and did it intentionally?
Lobo Football's in a meeting right now. You heard it started right here. I forgot to tell you that conversation with Danny Gonzalez was sponsored by the law offices of Rudy Chavez. If you need legal help, someone who really cares, call Rudy at 505-242-5500 today. Make your legal problems go away. Jared, good morning to you.
Good morning. Yesterday, the Phillies honored the 1980 world champions and brought them out onto the field, and it was the first time that Charlie Hustle was involved with baseball since his suspension from Bartlett Giamatti, and really the sports world. I mean, that was front page news when he was betting on baseball. Even though he has the most career hits and things like that, in 1973 he was accused of some things with a minor, and this is I guess fact, and with that being said, he basically admitted to it. And apparently the girl was 15 or 16 at the time, and he thought she was 16, but I guess she was 15. And that was in 1973, which obviously is before they won the World Series. So if he admits to that, I just give Major League Baseball a failing grade on how they handled that. I don't understand the consistency. If he's not allowed in the Hall of Fame, why is he allowed out on the field when all this is coming to light and he's not arguing it. And with that being said, with the previous story, sometimes the ambiguity of a charge of, oh, this athlete did this, but we don't know, they treat them worse than once the truth comes out, and the truth is actually worse than the ambiguity. The penalty isn't even as bad as before the if that makes sense.
Yeah, when it's still an assumption.
Yeah, and it's like this with Pete Rose. There's no ambiguity, and the penalty's like kind of not that big of a deal. And then you take, like, let's say Jose Canseco. I'm getting all over the place, but like Jose Canseco, this is what it is. This is what it is. And the guy, like, nobody wants to bring him back to baseball. And it's like, at least he tells the truth.
Yeah,
he told the truth the whole time when he was asked about things. So anyway, I just give Major League Baseball a failing grade with how they handled that yesterday.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, I'm not going to lie to you. I had not heard this allegation before yesterday. Had you? The Pete Rose allegation? All right, so this was his first appearance on a field in forever. Phillies scrapped their plans in 2017 to honor him because, and I guess this was back in 2017 when it came out, there was a woman's allegation that Pete Rose had sex with her when she was a minor. And so Rose was on the field yesterday as they were honoring the 1980 World Series team, and his quote was, "It was 55 years ago, babe." That's what Rose told a female baseball writer for the Philadelphia Inquirer. He's 81 now. He didn't answer any other questions of the dugouts. There was a team photo out in the field to commemorate this. The original 1980 anniversary celebration was postponed for 2 seasons because of the pandemic. So the reporter who asked the question tweeted on Sunday that Rose asked her if he had offended her and offered to sign 1,000 baseballs for forgiveness before ultimately saying he was sorry.
Ooh. Bribery now, too?
Well, I mean, I don't know what says I'm sorry than 1,000 Pete Rose baseballs. I mean, there's a monetary value to that, obviously. The Associated Press asked a question after the ceremony about the allegation and his comment earlier in the day. And again, quote, "Who cares what happened 50 years ago? You weren't even born, so you shouldn't be talking about it because you weren't born. If you don't know a damn thing about it, don't talk about it," end quote. He also told reporters, and this is another quote, "I'm going to tell you one more time. I'm here for the Philly fans. I'm here for my teammates, okay? I'm here for the Philly organization, and who cares what happened 50 years ago," end quote. How did I not? Did you know about all this? Like, I know about the I never knew that he was accused of having sex with a minor in 1973. According to this story, Rose was then on the television broadcast. I guess he cussed several times. He used some locker room terms. He was talking about his former first baseman and current announcer John Kruk, and who's a testicular cancer survivor. Pete's not very polished, obviously, and I think Pete might be at the point where he doesn't give a damn anymore. But this was his first appearance on a playing field in Philadelphia since he received the lifetime ban from Major League Baseball in 1989, and he agreed to the ban. And he was cheered. The fans cheered him, and he said, "They made me feel real good today. I don't want to say I expected it. I guess I did expect it from Philly fans. That's the way they are. They love their sports heroes," end quote. This gives me a whole
His
nother
first
light.
and last appearance.
You think so?
Yeah. It's at the point, if you're Pete Rose, just let everyone talk about your hits in your career, because, whew, you put them out there, it ain't good.
Yeah, Pete's probably not going to handle things well. All right, we'll go to the phones. Lenny, stay there. I'm way late for this break, so let's hit the break and we'll get to you when we get back. I want to tell you, though, about QC Kinetics, because if you are dealing with chronic pain, and I know so many of you are, just chronic joint pain, you're not having success with the steroids or the drugs, and you don't want surgery, there is a better way now. And it's available here from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics. So what are we talking about? It's new therapies, advanced all-natural biologics, regenerative treatments that can restore and repair damaged joint tissue, providing lasting relief. and there's no drugs, and there's no surgery, and there's no downtime. QC Kinetics. It's the nation's leader in precision regenerative medicine. They have over 100 clinics across America and literally thousands of satisfied patients. So 9 out of 10 times, QC Kinetics gets better results than surgery. That's why elite athletes, guys like Emmett Smith, Brooks Koepka, Tiger Woods, use QC Kinetics because it makes them feel better. So if you've been told that surgery is the only way, why don't you call and get a free consultation, basically a free second opinion? You might be able to take care of this pain that you're dealing with every day with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. Call QC Kinetics to get a free consultation with medical professionals. The number is 505-226-8688. 505-226-8688. QC Kinetics, 505-226-8688.
Staples.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the Pet Supply Superstore. ClarksPets.com.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number 1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company. Dream style stucco. Stucco is the way to go. The Southwest tradition, beautiful and durable. The perfect combination. Your favorite color, your favorite texture. You're gonna love it when they put it all together. Through any weather, nothing looks better. From the smooth to the rough, they really know their stuff. Nobody does stucco like Dream style stucco.
For certified collision and body repair, visit the experts at Car Crafters. 5 locations in Albuquerque and Rio Rancho. Visit carcrafters.com.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal.
All right. We're talking about the Pete Rose situation and the minor, 50-something years later, who is now an issue. Did Pete have sex with a minor back in 1973? And him talking to the reporters about it, or really not, and getting certainly grumpy. Lenny, good morning. Thanks for holding. How are you?
I did. Well, this thing with Pete Rose, it came out about 8-10 years ago, the first time.
How did I miss
when he was
that?
trying to get back into baseball again.
Yeah.
And the thing is, what he told this woman yesterday, saying, this was before you were born, it's 55 years ago, it's none of your business, because she wasn't born around. No, that's not the right answer.
That's of course not. Of course
Okay,
not.
and he makes a mockery of everything in him. I mean, I got baseballs from him that are signed, sorry, I bet on baseball, and other things that he makes fun of. He doesn't care.
I think,
at this point.
I think we're at that point. I think that's 100% right.
And he hasn't cared in a long time, because if he ever really had cared, he would have taken the 2-year original suspension they would have given him, and he would have been back in baseball, but he was too arrogant for himself.
Well, and then that offer expired.
Right, but at the very beginning, if he would have taken it, he didn't. And then he comes out with the book about betting on baseball that he denied all those years. So he's his own worst enemy.
No doubt. No doubt. Look, this is all on Pete. Nobody did this to Pete. This is on Pete.
So now let's move on to, you brought up this morning, or your producer did, Calvin Ridley. So this is where footballers has themselves in a bind. Yeah. He gets suspended for a year betting on an app that they take advertising money from.
That's right.
But that's okay. And I guarantee you within 5 years, you're going to have in-stadium gambling with these apps.
Well, you already have it in the NBA.
Right. So you're going to have it in football. I mean, I guess in certain cities you could already do it in football if you have mobile gaming approved in your state.
Right.
So the NFL says, no, you can't gamble on any team, including your own, which of course you should be suspended, but any other team, but we have no problem taking this company's money, putting it on our shows, and also talking about sports betting during our broadcast.
All right, I'm going to back you out for a second, because I agree with you in a large respect, but do you think players should be betting on football?
No, they shouldn't bet on anything, but it's the conundrum that putting us up in. You're taking gambling money, you're advertising gambling on all of your shows, you're advertising the point spreads on it.
Yes.
You're doing fantasy and betting, but your players are banned from doing the same thing that you're making revenue on, that you're giving players money on.
That's correct.
On the revenue sharing side.
Well, yeah. So where
should they bet? Should they bet? No. That's that red line that you cross in any sport, you get suspended for a year or longer.
So therein lies the issue, Lenny. I mean, I think for years we've all been saying, why, betting's happening, why not acknowledge it and legalize it and try to somehow regulate it? And they have, and they're monetizing it. I don't think any of us think that players should be betting on their sport, do we?
No, they can bet on any other sport but their own.
Fine.
I would have no problem with that. You want to bet, if you're an NBA player, you want to bet on hockey, hockey, football, cricket, I don't care. Just don't bet on your own sport, so there isn't any chance that you could be swaying something for somebody's game.
And it can't be a perception. I mean, I know it's a silly used term, but I think it's a silly used term for a reason, the integrity of the game. You've got to preserve the integrity of the game.
So now we'll go back to the integrity of the game when we look at the Deshaun Watson fiasco. If at the end he ends up with a year-long ban, then this whole thing was a mockery to begin with by having Robinson handle the case for 3 months, give a ruling, give a 6-game suspension, and then you turn around and go, now we're going to go ahead and appoint another judge, an arbitrator we've used before, who's now going to probably give him a year-long suspension, and then the Players Association is going to have to go to federal court, where they're probably not going to win an injunction.
Okay.
To get it. But this is where the NFL should be like baseball and go, you abuse anyone of any sex, you're out a year. None of this, it could be a 6-game, it needs to be a hard line drawn conclusion.
It would help everybody if it was. Yes, it would help everybody if that was
right
the case.
now it's so vague. She had to go off of past practices and Roethlisberger and the other people.
Yeah, it would help everybody if that was the case.
And then lastly, in baseball, if the Dodgers end up playing the Mets in the league championship and the Mets go with the healthy DeGrom and Scherzer, I will take the Mets over the Dodgers.
Yeah, because right now their pitching is better. All right, man. Appreciate you.
Okay.
Thanks.
You have a good one.
See you. Bueller and Gonzalez, Scherzer, DeGrom. Reset at the top, which is next, and then Craig Bowl at 9:15. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
I'm Kayla Burton with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. As they await word on Deshaun Watson's fate,
Like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the Pet Supply Superstore. ClarksPets.com.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
Jackson Compaction wants to help you keep your green.
And keep the community green as well.
Jackson Compaction has worked hard to maintain the same prices since day one. Always easy and painless trash removal with professional crews and quality service. If it's non-hazardous waste, debris, or trash on your land, leave it to us. At Jackson Compaction, we're dedicated to ensuring the conservation of our environment.
You trash it,
we smash it. Jackson Compaction, we've earned a reputation for great results.
The energy landscape is limitless and ever-changing. Cleaner energy resources are crucial to New Mexico's environment. For 100 years, PNM has utilized cutting-edge technology and employed hard-working New Mexicans to ensure that we have consistent, reliable energy when we need it. For life's loudest moments, quietest moments, and every moment in between. We're dedicated to providing you with energy now and into the future. All you have to do is dream of what to do with it next.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses.
Now, voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. This is the opening drive with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta, and JJ Buck.
All right, where are we going? Well, we'll go NFL. Kareem Hunt wants to get paid or get traded. I don't know that he's going to get either. He's a number 2 running back, although he's really good with the Cleveland mess. The Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Frowns. Lobo football camp is continuing. Cale Gundy, an assistant coach at Oklahoma, has resigned because he read off of a player's iPad in what sounds like an emotional rant. He read the words that were on there and a word that he says I should never say, so he resigned. Dodgers sweep the Padres after sweeping the Giants over the weekend. How you feeling about that, Dodger fan? And now we're on the Pete Rose story, where after 1973 was 50 years ago. After basically 50 years, he's still accused of having sex, or a woman says that they had sex when she was 14 or 15 years old. Pete said, no, it was 16. She was 16. That's the age of consent. And he was certainly surly this weekend whilst on the field and in the stadium in Philadelphia. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. Stephanie is producing. A. Marie back tomorrow. Is that correct?
That's the word I got.
All right. So we'll get into that. This is an interesting one, too. We'll get there. All right. So Grady sent an email. It says, you're not alone. This came in at jeff@sportsanimалabq.com. Cautious, cold email readers of the OD in the AM. I read this story this morning. He's talking about the Pete Rose story. I think that's right. No, that's not the Pete Rose story. He's talking about the Oklahoma story, the Cale Gundy story. He says, I don't think anyone has said it better than JJ did this morning. You gentlemen know me well and have an idea about what I'm about and where I come out on topics like this. And if there truly was zero history of Coach Gundy using words like that, and if the team vouched for him, and and if there was/is nothing more to this story, then you're not standing alone on this one, Mr. XTV guy. I'm assuming what everyone else is regarding what the word was, and unless it was some kind of team rule and the circumstances were like JJ's hypothetical, then I wouldn't have accepted his resignation, period, full stop. I'm sure the conversation will veer to who's allowed and who's not to say certain words, etc. And that's a whole other topic for a different day. But at face value, I don't think he should have resigned. I have a ton of family in Oklahoma with a few uncles with degrees from OU. You guys are right. Those fans are rabid. And when that kid's name comes out, if it hasn't already, he'd better have his transfer portal ducks lined up. With the facts we have now, it's sad and unfortunate all the way around. Grady in Santa Fe by way of the unanonymous village up north. We're talking about Cale Gundy. And again, if you're just joining us, what it sounds like in a meeting, Cale Gundy wanted their attention. One player was not paying attention. He grabbed the young man's iPad and read what was on there, and read it cold and obviously emotionally, and read a word that, in his words, I should never, ever utter. And he resigned because of that. And I'm thinking, on face value, if that's it, that doesn't feel like he should resign. JJ's point, and it's a great one, there's got to be something more to this. Like, is there a history of something going on with Cale Gundy?
Because Brent Venables, the head coach. I'd sit all those players down in a room without Cale Gundy in there. Talk about the situation, what happened, how do they feel about Coach? Do they believe it was an honest mistake, like he was just going, 110 miles per hour trying to prove a point, got over his skis, and have that discussion, and then go from there.
All right, so Scott Stigler, who you've heard on our stations many times, sent me a link, and this story was up 9 hours ago on OU Insider. It is Joe Mixon, the current Cincinnati Bengals running back and former OU star running back, talking about Cale Gundy. Have you seen this?
I did not see this.
All right, if he sent me, what do you think? Where do you think it's going to go? Joe Mixon talking about him. That's not fair. All right. Joe Mixon, the Super Bowl not winning but participating running back, voiced his support for Cale Gundy late last night. Mixon played at Oklahoma for a couple of seasons, 2014 to 2016, And there's a lengthy statement that he released. I'm not going to read you this whole thing. But it says, Coach Gundy is everything OU and any institution would want in a coach, teacher, and mentor. And let me back out. If you're not familiar with Joe Nixon, certainly an African-American student-athlete who played at Oklahoma. He had his issues, his off-field issues, right? He was the one who was accused, JJ, if I'm not mistaken, of punching a pregnant woman in a fast food restaurant in the stomach.
Okay, so no, that was Tyreek Hill.
That was Tyreek Hill. Sorry, all right. So that's what
he knocked out someone in a restaurant.
All right, it was at a fast food restaurant, right? Yeah. All right. I continue. He's caring, thoughtful, intelligent, smart, funny, experienceful, philanthropic, humble, and selfless. If not for Coach Gundy, I would not have attended OU, survived OU, stayed at OU, and succeeded in life after OU. I owe my education, professional career to him, and most importantly, I owe who I am as a person to him. And I'm not going to read you this whole thing, but I'm going to read you the next paragraph. Most importantly, Joe Mixon says, Coach Gundy is not, and I repeat, is not a racist in any way, nor has a racist bone in his body, mind, or soul. I grew up in the Bay Area and went to school, obviously, in Oklahoma. I know racists. I've witnessed both obvious and discreet forms of racism and have known and detested even more actual racists. Coach Gundy is the farthest thing from this type of person. I spent every day for the 1,000 days I was in Norman with him, and I never saw anything that would lead anyone to believe this or think this. I don't know if that makes you feel any differently about the situation. End quote, by the way. I don't know if that makes you feel any differently about the situation. But I'm going to tell you this story is going to get a lot of discussion in the next 24 hours.
Very big in the college football world. Yep.
Maybe because the Gundy name's attached to it, do you think? But I think more so the situation. I can't think of anything that's parallel to this that is comparable to this. Can you? I mean, typically, there's been guys who've been caught in situations with racist words, language, and we've questioned intent, and guys have had to apologize. I should never have said that, and that's not what I meant. This is one where he was reading the words of a student athlete off of an iPad, and an obviously emotional moment, and he shouldn't have done it, and that's fine. He's admitted he shouldn't have done it. I'm going to go back to the premise on this. JJ, if there's a past to it, if there's been an incident or two or three or more, then I get it. If this is standalone, I don't believe the man should lose his career over this.
There's a chance that this reverses course this week.
You think so?
I think so. There's enough public sentiment and probably enough people in power positions that would be on his side at Oklahoma.
Would it have to come down to him and the young man, him in the room? I mean, obviously, him in the room, right? The players have to be comfortable with this. We talk about, what did Jack Del Rio say earlier? He's now is he with the Steelers? Where's Jack Del Rio? Washington. And what did he say? There was something he said a few weeks ago that he stood by. And the whole, there's been so many, and I apologize for not remembering the exacts on this, but I remember a number of people saying, "How if I'm an African American athlete, I can't be coached by this man." And I understood that. God, what did he say? Because he stood by it. I'll find it.
So are you leaning more towards it might be a racial slur, or
well, yeah,
do you think
I think it's obvious what the word was. I think it's relatively obvious what the word was.
I just wasn't sure if it was maybe like a homophobic type thing.
That's
maybe
interesting. That's actually really, really interesting. All right, and
another thing to add to it, we don't know for sure.
Yeah.
Steph, that's fair. I just assumed in the setting that it would be the N-word.
Yeah.
And I guess it's really, thank you, because that's not fair on my part. I mean, did you assume the same thing?
I did. Yes.
Yeah. So you're thinking it could be a homophobic?
I'm thinking maybe a homophobic type thing.
Would that make it any different?
That. No, I think it goes back to the same thing like JJ said. Something previously had to have happened where he's trying to really watch his step.
Steph, I'm going to back you up on why I think I'm even more convicted it's a racial slur. Because Joe Mixon, who's a former Oklahoma player, and now plays for the Cincinnati Bengals, just came out with this statement.
That's true.
And I would guess that Joe Mixon probably has a little bit of insight to what was said in that room. I mean, is that fair?
Yes, I believe.
So I appreciate the way you're thinking. No, and I needed that because I think I did just assume.
Yeah.
Because we're left to assume. But that, I mean, would that make any difference if it was a homophobic
No,
slur?
definitely not. But I'm just trying to think of like not racial. I don't know. Either way, it's horrible. But
Well, I mean, either way, I'm sitting here struggling.
Well, you know what the reality of that situation is? Is
it's icky.
Unfortunately, if he said a homophobic slur, it wouldn't have been a story. Like, why would that? Unless there was someone in that room.
Unless someone was offended. Yeah, you're true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean,
but this is like we're going down this rabbit hole.
Which slur is okay?
And
which
no, like, and it's
none of it.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to change course when we get back. Craig Bull is the head football coach at the University of Wyoming. He's been there for a while now, trying to get Wyoming back to where Wyoming fan believes they should be. Always enjoy this conversation. He's the guy, Steph, who always says, every year when I do this, he's like, wow, you're really good at this. Well, thanks. Because we don't just run off like a bunch of questions that we've got written down. But I think you'll enjoy this conversation with Craig Bull, who coached Josh Allen and Carson Wentz in college. Wyoming coach next on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the pet supply superstore. ClarksPets.com.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number 1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company. Dream style stucco. Stucco is the way to go. The Southwest tradition, beautiful and durable. The perfect Your favorite color, your favorite texture. You're gonna love it when they put it all together. Through any weather, nothing looks better. From the smooth to the rough, they really know their stuff. Nobody does stucco like Dream Style Stucco.
For certified collision and body repair, visit the experts at Car Crafters. 5 locations in Albuquerque and Rio Rancho. Visit carcrafters.com.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
The Sports Animal.
All right, Wyoming Cowboys are on the schedule this year for the Lobos. Who was Wyoming last year? 7-6. Lobos beat them 21-3 in beautiful Laradise. Yet
One of the most bizarre games ever.
Well, and this is the same team who beat the living stuffing out of Utah State, who won the league.
14-3.
What was
the Lobos?
Was it 14-3
game?
All right, and then
with QB5.
And what was their score against Utah State, the team who won the league?
44-17.
They beat Utah State 44-17 in Logan and lost to the Lobos in Laramie, 14-3. Just a bizarre year for them, a bizarre team. But I think there's a lot of promise in it, and they're intriguing. Last year there was a lot of press clippings to read. Everybody loved Wyoming. This year they're picked 5th in the Mountain Division. Here's JJ and my conversation with Wyoming head football coach Craig Bull. 9th year for Craig Bull at the University of Wyoming. It kind of feels like we're sitting across town in one of these hallways. I don't know, it felt like 3 weeks ago that you just started. Congratulations on 9 years. I know you're excited.
You know, really am. It was interesting. There was an interview that Josh Allen did, and they talked about why he came back and stayed. And they mentioned, well, do you think your head coach, if he had opportunities, would have gone? And Josh said, you know, he told me, he looked me straight in the eye, he goes, he's going to finish his career at Wyoming. And I guess that's the DNA that I have, and it's a special place. It's somewhat unusual for a coach to stay in one place for a long time, but I think there's some real benefits to it.
Craig, it's you know, you look around the room, and I don't know, I guess you are the senior coach now, right? In this
no, I think Troy.
Well, Troy is. Certainly Troy is at Air Force. But, you know, you watch coaches not transferring, but changing jobs within the conference, which used to be unheard of now.
Yeah.
Your border rivalry there down in Colorado State. But what is it about that place? The word special means so many different things. What is it about Wyoming that's keeping you there? Mm-hmm. Because I remember day one you said this place is really special.
It is, and there's greatness here. Now, we have not accomplished what we want to. You know, to bring home a conference championship and return Cowboy football back to national prominence. We've made steps, but I think the foundation that we've laid has allowed us to have consistency, which is important. You know, for me, I've always looked at Cowboy football. They had recruited me when I was a younger player. And also there's a great deal of pride within the state. You know, we're a sparsely populated state. People appreciate being rugged. They appreciate tradition. You don't have to be flashy. I think all those things fit kind of who I am, which is why that has meshed in so well.
In that regard, does it take a certain type of person to buy into Laramie, Wyoming? Can you look down some of the players you're bringing in, like Omaha, St. Louis, regional, smaller city guys? Is it just an atmosphere that they have to buy into?
There's no question. You know, for a player to thrive, you've got to really feel comfortable with where they're at, and they need to feel comfortable. We've been very, very transparent and very authentic in our recruiting approach. You know, it snows, the wind blows, there's hiccups. You have to buy in, and we say ride for the brand or Cowboy up. And so, you know, we look guys straight in the eye, and we don't make any promises. There's no numbered jersey number 1 on our football team. We have no names on the back of our jerseys, which is kind of counterculture to how things are. But we really believe if you get the right guys to buy in, football is still, no matter what anybody says, is still the ultimate team game, and it takes a collection of a whole lot of people, and we're going to leverage that.
And with that for you, as this game continuously evolves in the last few years, from transfers have been there, but they've had to sit out. Now, immediate eligible transfers, there's high school players. How do you go about building your roster and then what you want your football team to be with those players?
Well, that's been something that I don't want to say maybe challenge would be an overstatement, but it certainly has challenged me or forced me to be able to move the needle some. What we will not depart from, we're still going to be a developmental program, but what we have to do is when we bring in supplemental players, that they're coming into the culture that we have. And so throw out what kind of athleticism they have, which needs to be there. But each one of these guys that have transferred in, we vetted every single one of them with a close college coach that we know inside and out. And so I think that's going to be important for us. For us to be successful, that culture in that locker room has got to stay consistent. And so a great opportunity to expand our roster, but also a great challenge to make sure you're bringing the right men in the locker room.
Craig Bull's the coach of the University of Wyoming. It's really interesting to hear you talk about that because you've been doing this for a couple of minutes now, but yet it's evolving at a clip, and I say the college landscape, but probably the athlete, the way the athletes are treated, what's expected so much. The evolution of Craig Bull as a coach probably has had to speed up, maybe even a little faster than you anticipated. How have you felt yourself having to change?
Well, I think you're either green and growing or ripe and dying, and this has accelerated some things. Here's what I do know. Everybody said young people have changed, and I've heard that a gazillion times. Young people haven't changed. Young people still want to be challenged. They still want to be shown what they can become. They still want to be loved. They still want to be held accountable. What has changed is our times. They've had all these chaotic things go on, whether it's COVID, indecision, people moving here or there. They want to know, can I trust you? Are you going to help me? Can you help me achieve what I'm going to achieve? If you can peel back that veneer and reach inside and grab a hold of a guy's heart and touch their soul, they'll do anything in the world. But it takes time, and they've got to trust you. And that's been the evolution I've had to do. I grew up in the era of Coach Says, kind of like you.
Yes, sir.
Coach Says.
Yes, sir.
Now it's like, well, why am I doing this, Coach? Okay. I need to take that next step, and so that's been our process.
All right, I walked out of here last year. I went back and told JJ, Wyoming's going to be really good.
Amen.
And so you had a lot of experience. You had guys coming back that I know you were relying on, fifth-year guys, six-year guys. And the inconsistency on your offensive line, I think, was really probably the core of it. But I'm not going to ask you what happened last year, but more so, how does it become different this year? Because you got a quarterback transferring in, you got one going out, kind of a weird swap in a lot of ways. So how's it going to get different this year?
Well, the first person I needed to look at was myself. How did this football team, where we strive to be consistent, was so inconsistent, where we play well against Utah State on the road in a meaningful game, and then turn around and lose the next week, where we look like we've been down at the Buckhorn Bar for 3 days.
Maybe that was the answer. I don't know.
Well, I'm not going to say, but you know what? I needed to. I've challenged myself and the staff to be engaged with these players more. Many times as head football coaches, you're a CEO of a program, and you don't spend any time with these guys, and you think you know them, and you really don't. And so that was a process that started way back in January. And we have a hungry football team, and we have some ability, but we don't have a lot of experience. Quite frankly, those are the teams I enjoy coaching more. I was here in 2016. We were picked 6th. We played for the conference championship that year. Now, we had some unique players. A lot of people didn't know a lot about them. We were hungry. I'd a lot rather be picked 6 or where we were picked. Last year, I just think maybe we read our press clippings too much. Maybe I read our press clippings too much. Thought we could leverage our strengths, and we were not as strong. We underachieved.
Craig, you mentioned that comment about what's in your DNA and envisioning you at Wyoming. What is it about not just Wyoming but the Mountain West Conference that there seems to be this confidence from all the coaches, all the players that this is a place you can grow, you can be successful, and it can be one of the marquee conferences.
Here's what I would say. Young men want to have an opportunity to get a great education, which is without question, and our institutions are great. But then also, they want to play a competitive brand of football. And then the other thing, they've got a laser-like focus. They want to win a conference championship, then they want to have an opportunity to play in the NFL. And I can tell you the number of general managers that I have a close relationship with, I mean, they cull through our league like you cannot believe. And if you look at the profile of some of our players that have done well in the National Football League, that gives these guys an opportunity to say, I can accomplish all the things I need to accomplish or want to accomplish right here. And so, we found that with our players as well.
You're going to go into camp. Craig Bowles with us for a few more minutes. You haven't named a starting quarterback yet. It doesn't matter. I'm going to ask you about your quarterback competition, but really it doesn't matter who it is. The guys up front have to get better. If you watch that in the off season, because and you're not the only guy in this building this week that's saying we got to get better up front.
Well, football's still a physical game, and if you're really good in the offensive line, that gives you a chance to leverage so many things. And we have size, we have athleticism. What we don't have is experience. And we're trying to do everything we can to speed those guys up. But that maturation process, it's going to improve during fall camp. We had a good spring. We've got ability. But until you're out there on the field and you start seeing when those guys are moving around. But I can tell you this. I'm really optimistic. I'm optimistic about that offensive line. And if we're going to be good there, and I think we can be, I think we can make some hay in this league.
You're always good defensively. You feel good about that side?
I think we need to be better. We lost. We've been fortunate the last couple of years. Our middle linebackers. Logan Wilson had a great year with the Bengals. I think Chad was picked high again. We've got a guy, Easton Gibbs, is going to come in. We feel like can really be a solid player, but we've got to play great defense, control the football. It's old school. Play great defense, control the football, don't turn it over. Have a little wind up there in Laramie, maybe some snow, and hopefully win some games.
Always enjoy it. I look forward to making a trip up to Laramie at some point this year. I tell JJ every year it's kind of one of my, well, not even kind of, it's my favorite year. I never had a bad time. Best of luck this year, Craig. Always good to see you.
When some people peek under the hood, their first thought is, what's all this? You may as well be.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543. High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the Pet Supply Superstore. ClarksPets.com.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company. Dream style stucco. Stucco is the way to go. A Southwest tradition, beautiful and durable. The perfect combination. Your favorite color, your favorite texture. You're gonna love it when they put it all together. Through any weather, nothing looks better. From the smooth to the rough, they really know their stuff. Nobody does stucco like Dream Style Stucco.
For certified collision and body repair, visit the experts at Car Crafters. 5 locations in Albuquerque and Rio Rancho. Visit carcrafters.com.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
Don't. For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the pet supply superstore. ClarksPets.com.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
You appreciate some of the conversations. We don't do a lot of X's and O's with these guys. You don't care what kind of scheme they're running, if they're running a 3-4 or 4-3. Or I really enjoy the conversations with these coaches because it's more about philosophy and personalities than it is about schemes and game day stuff. And that's why I've always enjoyed Craig and the difference, the uniqueness of Laramie. But he says, look, you young men just want a chance. I just want to give them a good opportunity, a good opportunity. They get a good education, and you believe in them, and they'll do anything. And he's talked about loyalty. He said that maybe Wyoming read their press clippings too much last year, and I think that was probably right. But how you can explain to me that they go on the road to Logan 1 week? Was it the week after, right? It beat the living stuffing out
No,
of the team.
There was a gap.
How big?
Between, are you talking about New Mexico?
Utah State, New Mexico. All right, so there were a few games.
New Mexico was the 7th game of the season, and the Utah State game was second to last game.
So 7th and 10th.
But it was like 3 weeks.
Okay,
It's
so
not
but how a team that can lose at home to a New Mexico team that couldn't score a point, lose 14-3, and then go on the road and beat the team who wins the league 44-17. And you're going to tell me, well, it's college athletics, and you're right. But that's how good and how bad Wyoming was last year. So I always enjoy Craig Bull and hope you did as well. All right, 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. you have a lot of response to the Cale Gundy story. Cale Gundy, if you're just joining us, is the assistant coach at Oklahoma, former quarterback at Oklahoma in the 90s, the brother of Mike Gundy. I'm a man. I'm 40. That guy. He resigned as an assistant coach at OU after he said he uttered words that he should never say that that are shameful, in his words. He went over during a team meeting. A player wasn't paying attention. He said, "What do you basically, what's going on?" He grabbed the player's iPad, read off of there, and read a word. And then we're all assuming what the word is. I know that's dangerous, but that's kind of where we are, what it is. Okay? And so he resigned. The text line has a few of these. It says, this one says, and they're all different phone numbers. Jeff, there must be something more to the story in Oklahoma. Gundy should not resign under these circumstances. Have you been on a high school football sideline? Oh, my goodness, the things these kids and coaches are saying. Yes, I have. And, yes, you're right. Should he resign simply because of this? Should this man lose his job and his career? The next one says, as for the Oklahoma football coach, I can't believe I'm going to agree with JJ, but I do. They should have pooled the players together and tested the pulse of the room of men he leads. I don't disagree with that. I mean, obviously, if he said it, and he did, where are the players on this? I read you Joe Mixon's response on this, right? The former Oklahoma player, the now current Cincinnati Bengal. He's one of the better running backs in the National Football League. I read you his letter of support for this coach. Now, one more for you. If an African-American player used the N-word and it was read by Coach Gundy from the iPad, then for the sake of unity, that word should never be used by anyone. This notion that, quote, only we can use that word, end quote, needs to end. So it's interesting. If that was written or typed or whatever on an iPad, how do you feel about that? And it's been a long conversation. Hello, Rudy.
Good morning. Boy, that's sad news about Colbert, and that's basically my main reason in calling this morning, because
we need to add that to.
We
need to add that to our list, by the way, that we're working on.
Yeah, absolutely. I met him probably the day he walked on campus to work with Rudy Davalos, and I say with because it wasn't for. Those guys were a partnership. They were a team. And interestingly enough, a lot of people, when they looked at Con and his hands, they didn't know how he got that finger missing.
Mm-hmm.
That was the guy that was out there just making things happen, and they were doing a painting project, and somehow there was an accident. And that's a athletic director at, I believe it was Iowa State at the time.
Yeah, he lost
who's
his
out
finger.
there. Painting the bench, helping to do stuff to make the place better. That was always Con, and we're a better place for him being here.
Inarguable, Rudy. Con was as good and honest and strong and hardworking and straightforward and loyal and trustworthy and just as good, as solid a human as there was in that business.
And knew the business like the back of his hand. He could have been an athletic director had he wanted to do that.
No doubt.
But I think he and Rudy worked so well together that it was kind of nice to watch them, and they did so much to raise the profile athletically of this UNM program. And so he's a guy I'd not talked to him in a couple of years, and I know his health was starting to fail like all of ours is going to fail, but he always maintained that optimism and that can-do attitude his whole life. So prayers for his family and everybody that was touched by Colbert. He was truly a special guy.
Agree. I can't agree more. And, the Colberts are family to me, as close as I've gotten to them over the last 16 and a half years. And so I can't echo your sentiments anymore. Deepest condolences to the Colbert family.
Yep.
All right.
Appreciate the time today. Thank you.
Thank you, Rudy. Appreciate you. And if that's kind of catching you off guard, earlier in the show, Janice Ruggiero was with us, a long-time administrator over at UNM, and I learned on Saturday morning that Colbert had passed away. Con was the deputy athletic director for the years that Rudy Davalos was the athletic director at the University of New Mexico and at Houston, by the way. Con and Rudy were together at Houston. And Con did all the dirty work, man, and I can't find anybody who gives me kind of a bad story. Yeah, I didn't really like him. He was fine. No, nobody who knew him. So he passed away, and will be missed. All right, 505-246-0610. JJ, I got a bunch of emails I will get to as well before we get out of here. And you can send those to Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com, JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. Come on in, and I'll get those for you. Kirtland Federal Credit Union can help you with all of your financial goals. So what is it that you want to do? What are you looking to do financially? Planning for retirement? Investing for retirement starts with Kirtland Financial Services. You can talk to an advisor today and start walking the path to a confident future. If you're looking to improve your home, turn the value of your home into cash. You can use that for home improvements, upgrades, and more. Need a new home? Choose from a wide variety of mortgage programs. Partner with a team of friendly and knowledgeable mortgage experts. Looking to buy a car? Comprehensive rates, unbeatable service. We can help you drive away in the vehicle you want with payments with which you can live. So how can they help you today? Stop by any branch or visit them online. KirtlandFCU.org. That's KirtlandFCU.org. Membership eligibility required. See your representative for complete details.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the Pet Supply Superstore. ClarksPets.com.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
Jackson Compaction wants to help you keep your green.
And keep the community green as well.
Jackson Compaction has worked hard to maintain the same prices since day one. Always easy and painless trash removal with professional crews and quality service. If it's non-hazardous waste, debris, or trash on your land, leave it to us. At Jackson Compaction, we're dedicated to ensuring the conservation of our environment.
You trash it,
we smash it. Jackson Compaction, we've earned a reputation for great results.
The energy landscape is limitless and ever-changing. Cleaner energy resources are crucial to New Mexico's environment. For 100 years, PNM has utilized cutting-edge technology and employed hard-working New Mexicans to ensure that we have consistent, reliable energy when we need it. For life's loudest moments, quietest moments, and every moment in between. We're dedicated to providing you with energy now and into the future. All you have to do is dream of what to do with it.
One.
Oh, brother.
On 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal.
All right, lots going on this morning. You can get in on the Kareem Hunt conversation. You can get in on the Cale Gundy, Oklahoma coach, assistant coach who has resigned. Steph Cat sounding good today from Lobo Hobo. Steph is in with us today. A. Marie back tomorrow after her trials and travels and all that stuff. All right. This says, I don't even know what this means. I don't know why I read it then. Maury says, Cale Gundy. Jeff, why is this big-time athlete still on the team? Around here was overpaid central office deep state administrators that removed guys from the team for hearsay. Basically saying, why is the person, the player who had that on their iPad still on the team? And I know that's a conversation that's going on in Oklahoma and around Norman, right? Why is the player still there? The ire is going to shift, if it has not already, amongst Oklahoma fans who has caused a beloved coach to leave. The ire is going to shift to that player. If it's not out, it will be out by this afternoon, who the player is.
Yeah. And then he's going to take it, and he might not have even been the one that brought it up or said anything. Like, it came off his iPad, but who's to say that he was the offended one?
Could he have been reading something, is what you're saying? Yeah, I look, this is not... Do you think it ends with a contrition and Cale Gundy coming back, like Joe Mixon was hoping, like you were saying potentially?
I think it could.
Okay.
But a lot of it, too, is because I know everyone is immediately looking at the player. What are their specific team rules? Is it kind of a given that, hey, this coach doesn't want to run practice, or is it steadfast that, hey, this word is not said, but then how does that work if it was words on an iPad? Well, if it's a team-issued iPad, then it's different. Like, this is just messy, man. Just
everything about it's messy. No, everything about it's uncomfortable.
And you start like, well, what's okay to say? What's okay not to say? I don't want to see this player get trashed, and he's going to get trashed. This situation feels like they could have handled it differently, but you don't know where the pressure's coming from. Would Venables have been okay if he took that room aside, talked to the players, went through it, got his side of the story? Because the coach resigned, and anytime there's a resignation, everyone assumes that it was forced. And so that's why people are like, hey, don't do this.
Everything about this is uncomfortable to me.
Yeah.
Every line of it, every aspect of it is uncomfortable to me. Look, when you start throwing race in there, and that's what we're assuming, right? I guess, Steph, your point was so good. We're all just assuming race. And I'm assuming that because Joe Mixon came out and said he's not a racist, right? One of his former players who I would assume has, again, there's so much assumption here. I hate that. Has knowledge from within the program of what was said, right? But, yeah, everything about it is uncomfortable. All right, 505-246-0610. NFL stuff. Joe Burrow could still be out a few more weeks. So the two guys who were quarterbacks in the Super Bowl last year are not 100%. Joe Burrow had an appendectomy, so he's out for a while. Matthew Stafford has elbow injury that is, what was the word, concerning and abnormal. That's a problem too. I would expect, I guess I don't know how to expect. How do you come back? I mean, you have ever had an appendectomy? I don't. I mean, when are you okay to get hit?
No, I've not had one.
When are you okay to get hit? I mean, it feels like it's going to take a minute, doesn't it? Who's their backup quarterback? And by the way, why is nobody, when we have conversations about who's going to the Super Bowl and even who's going to win that division, why is almost nobody, Brandon Allen is their backup quarterback, mentioning the Cincinnati Bengals who won the AFC last year?
That's very hard to repeat. And there's not a trust in the Bengals like you trust in Stafford and the Rams and the overall talent. I think they're going to be good. I think a playoff team, I'm picking Baltimore to win that division. Baltimore's healthy. They're a better football team.
So there is a track record of the last decade and a half of teams who finish runner-up in the Super Bowl sliding hard the next year. And I think, I don't even know if it's conscious, that's a conscious thing why nobody's picking them. I agree with you. People don't, because they're still the Bengals. Like, yeah, they had a cute little year, and they won. Ryan Tannehill kind of gave them a win in the first game, and yeah, they're a cute little team. By the way, they were really a possession away from winning the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Joe Burrow, as much credit as he got for the swag, when you talk to me about the best young quarterbacks in the game, invariably, Joe Burrow was left out of that conversation.
And Burrow had his best weeks when it mattered late in the season.
Joe Burrow plays when it matters. Yeah. Joe Burrow is tough. Joe Burrow is accurate. Joe Burrow is respected by his team. But yet, if you're going to tell me, well, Jeff, who are the best quarterback, the young quarterbacks in the NFL, you always start with Mahomes and Josh Allen, right? All right, fair enough. Is he one of those two? All right, maybe not. And then you go to Kyler Murray, and you go to Lamar, and you go to Deshaun Watson, and you go to – when does Joe Burrow ever get brought up in that conversation? Well, he's not as elusive as those guys, and he doesn't have the gun that guy – I don't know. All he did was go to the damn Super Bowl last year, didn't he? Justin Herbert always is before him, correct? Always in that conversation. Like, who would you rather have, Justin Herbert or Joe Burrow? I don't know. Justin Herbert.
Well, Jeff.
You know who I'd rather have.
I had Joe Burrow number 6.
On your quarterback list?
On my quarterbacks for next season. Ahead of Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, and Justin Herbert. And how can you be ahead of a guy that you said is going to win the division?
Good. Well, because
I think it's going to be very close. And I do think that Baltimore and Cincinnati are a step ahead of Pittsburgh and Cincinnati.
Right, who are the 5 quarterbacks Cleveland in front of him on your list?
Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Matthew Stafford, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson.
You have Russell Wilson ahead of him.
It's right there.
Yeah, no, it's fair. Look, this is so subjective. I mean, I'm not going to get mad at you.
It's okay. You can yell.
No, when was the last time you heard me yell?
Slava Medvedenko.
Yeah, right. I Russell Wilson. So,
how many quarterbacks do we just say, hey, who's ready for a Scorched Earth tour? Because you can put Russell Wilson right there on that list too.
You think so?
A lot of people have soured on Russell Wilson.
No doubt. Biggest year for quarterback, Tua, right? I mean,
as much as we talk about the AFC West,
yeah,
like the AFC North is going to be just as good of a battle. Because here's the thing. You might
I agree with that.
Dislike the quarterbacks in Pittsburgh. They're never a bad team.
I agree with that.
Cleveland, if you talk up the roster enough, if it ends up being just half the season, they find a way to stay being a 500 football team. Their majority of their division games come in the second half of the year.
Is it okay that I treat Cleveland like the Chargers? I mean, until you I'm tired of hearing how good you're going to be. I honestly am. I'm tired every year of hearing how good you are, and then I watch it, and you're really not that damn good.
Swung for the fences.
No, I understand, and I appreciate
the Denver Broncos with quarterback
like the Padres. I got no problem with you swinging for the fences and trying to better your team. I actually admire that. Okay, I admire from a competitive angle. I admire what you're doing. Let me see it once. Can I see it once before I buy into their crap? It's like the Chargers to me. Stop it. Every year, we got the greatest young quarterback, and we got this. All right,
they did it. Well, what are you talking about, like AFC Championship game?
Just make a run. Make a run.
2020?
Who?
Browns?
What'd they do? They won a playoff game?
Lost by 5 at Kansas City in the divisional
playoffs. They won a playoff game. I mean, good job, good effort. And then they got rid of that quarterback, and Baker Mayfield's not their guy. And I mean, I'm fine. Look. And so you're telling me once in the last 3 decades they won a playoff game? Mm-hmm. All right. I good for you, man. What have the Chargers done? That's all I'm saying.
What have the Raiders done?
Raiders. So I read you a list of stuff that's happened since the last time the Raiders won a playoff game. Like there was no Netflix streaming since then, and no Xbox 360.
Someone's gonna pop.
No iPhone, and someone's gonna pop. I think it's the Raiders. Like I think the Raiders.
Even though they were a playoff team.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the question, Jeff.
Yeah.
And we can sit on this. We can let this simmer.
No.
Who's that team?
Yeah.
That was not a playoff team.
Yep.
Maybe even a last place team.
Yep.
That is going to the playoffs next season.
Vikings.
You think it's the Minnesota Vikings?
Yeah, I do.
Not bad.
Yeah. I think the Vikings are nice. I know everybody's on the Chargers, and look, the Chargers might be a playoff team. I mean, whatever, cute. I think it's the Vikings, and Amory's not here, so I'm not saying it to kiss up to K. Amory. Is that wrong? I think she's gonna dig it. Who's your team?
I was trying to get away from looking at the teams that were one game under 500, one game above 500, but those are the ones you gravitate to, and we get more into this tomorrow.
All right. Thanks to Janice Ruggiero, Danny Gonzalez, and Craig Bowl for all being with us today. Jim Rome Show is next. The Herd with Colin Coward comes your way after that at 1. 2 Men On at 4. We're back tomorrow morning with award-winning radio starting at 7 a.m. Steph, thanks for stepping in the last bunch of days. Love having you here.
Thank you for having me.
Adrian, great work again. Graphics look great. The show looks great on the visual medium over on ProView Networks. Big day for you?
Huge day.
All right, well, enjoy it. Be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll see you tomorrow at 7 a.m.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the Pet Supply Superstore. ClarksPets.com.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
Jackson Compaction wants to help you keep your green.
And keep the community green as well.
Jackson Compaction has worked hard to maintain the same prices since day one. Always easy and painless trash removal with professional crews and quality service. If it's non-hazardous waste, debris, or trash on your land, leave it to us. At Jackson Compaction, we're dedicated to ensuring the conservation of our environment.
You trash it,
we smash it. Jackson Compaction, we've earned a reputation for great results.
The energy landscape is limitless and ever-changing. Cleaner energy resources are crucial to New Mexico's environment. For 100 years, PNM has utilized cutting-edge technology and employed hard-working New Mexicans to ensure that we have consistent, reliable energy when we need it. For life's loudest moments, quietest moments, and every moment in between. We're dedicated to providing you with energy now and into the future. All you have to do is dream of what to do with it next.